That's why I want to get started.
Shit, there was one more thing I was going to say before we started, but oh well.
Well, we are live.
Too late, motherfucker.
Yep, we are live. So, yep, too late for that. Hello, everybody, if there's anybody there. Don't
Just
know
us.
yet. Haven't checked the thing. But anyways, that's okay. Well, it actually hasn't started yet.
What?
Now it started. There it goes. At least on my feed, it just now it's barely started.
According to mine, we're 36 seconds in, so.
Yeah. So, do we want to put up a list of the movies or of all the movies we do before we do them, or
I thought about doing that, actually.
because like we're not doing every full moon title or whatever, we're just
No.
I would say no.
okay.
I just think it adds more of a mystery element. I know, like when we did the 2000 slashers, we didn't do that, and people seem to kind of like it.
But I know that we did say we weren't doing most of the major franchises, things like that.
Yeah, I mean, we did the same thing when we did the slashers. We just did random movies.
Okay.
Well, we did movies that weren't as well known as.
Yeah, like kind of like this in a way. You know, movies that kind of deserve more attention.
Yeah, I agree.
It doesn't matter to me. My thought is just it adds an extra mystery element to it.
Whatever works.
Just to let everybody know that we watched 22 movies,
Mm-hmm.
and we are going to be ranking. We all watched them together, so we're going to be ranking all 22. Similar to the way we did the Evil Bong, and similar to the way we did the 2000 slashers.
And for this, we each picked 7 movies, and then for the last movie, we kind of just decided on one together to come up with the 22.
Actually, I goofed. That's why we all agreed on it, because it was supposed to be Witch House, but I couldn't find my DVDs, so we went with a different movie.
Yep.
And I still haven't found it.
You want that?
No. Tastes like shit?
No, it tastes good, but the sugar in it is hurting my teeth when I eat.
Yeah, probably not good.
I mean,
Just-
it's all a plate.
Just throw it back in
Fine.
there. It's fine.
So yeah, I couldn't put up another thing on my channel or my Twitter page because they put
Yeah, some dumbass is in Twitter jail now.
Yeah.
How am I the dumbass? Yeah, I love that I tell racist people off, and I'm the one that gets in trouble. But yet they're allowed to be racist as much as they want.
Hey, Ben. Well, I look at it this way.
Hey, Ben.
You were responding to somebody who was basically, from what the way it sounded, a piece of shit, right?
Well, no, the person who posted the thing,
Yeah,
was posting a video of somebody being a piece of shit,
right.
and they weren't like endorsing the person or agreeing with them.
Right.
I was telling them like, screw her, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, but unfortunately, I mean, I looked at what you wrote. It
Unfortunately,
maybe
it's Twitter and
just,
you know.
from friend to friend, it should probably go through here first before it comes out of here.
Hey,
I
Katie.
mean, I completely agree with what you said, but
Well, the problem with Twitter is that they've always jumped more for the people that, you know, that do the messed up thing, and jump on the people that actually say what's like, put them in check or put them, you know. They've always done that,
hey, Katie.
you know.
Yeah, we're going to start around quarter after, I guess. Does that sound good to you guys?
Sounds good for me.
Yeah, exactly, Ben. Hello, Ben. Hello, Katie. Welcome to the chat.
Only certain people are allowed to be mad.
No, that's pretty much what it's
Yeah,
like. Yeah.
yeah, you're right. You're
Mhm.
right.
Yep.
But
And maybe it was because the video was a black chick and I'm not black. I don't know. I don't care. You know, that's my
yeah,
whole
but you
point
just
for this.
commented you didn't put your picture on there, so they don't know.
Well, they know I've got my picture on my thing many times.
Well, yeah.
I mean, but that was exactly the whole point of what I was speaking out against, was people doing exactly that. playing, the race card, and that's just that rain thing. Stupid, isn't it? I don't get it at all. But whatever.
Maybe it's just me, but I just don't. The way I feel about that kind of stuff, I just
I
don't
know.
care.
I should have just let it go on by and not even, but just sometimes it hits that bone, it hits that nerve or whatever, you want to call it. And,
Yeah.
it's just like, I know I shouldn't have said nothing. I should have just let it go. But
Yeah, Ben, I agree with you. It's just one of those things. I just let that kind of shit slip by because I know the score and I know how it's going to end up for me if I do something like that. So I just kind of do it.
which is exactly what happened.
Yeah.
I knew as soon as I put it there, they were probably going to get mad about it. Posters, flag it. But that's okay. My mom made a peach pie, and that makes everything better.
Oh, did you put the peaches in the fridge? Yeah. My mom got me some peaches, so that'll be cool. When I'm able to eat shit like that again, it'll be good.
I got these Colorado peaches here Colorado peaches are really, really good. I don't know if they're not as famous as like Georgia peaches.
Yeah.
They're really, really good, and they make really good pies.
Well, at least there's no chunky white thing.
Have you guys changed your ranking at all since we did it?
Not since nope. When we watched the last movie, I put my ranking down, and then I was like, okay, we're gonna watch this last movie, and I just plugged that movie into where I thought it should be. And I've looked it over 3 times since then, and I still agree with it.
So I changed one thing, and Joe and I happened to be talking when I did it, and then I put it right back to where it was.
Really?
Yep. But I did change a few other things because I felt like this deserves to be above that, even though this is a better movie. I just like this one better.
Yeah, and that's how I do it. I mean, I go based on, some of these, a lot of these movies aren't the best films, but I'm going by what I enjoy the most. Like, what am I going to rewatch the most?
Right,
what do I find the most entertaining?
And that's what I had to go with.
From a filmmaking standpoint, I've never thought that they were bad films. Any of their stuff they put out, very, very seldom. Some of the newer stuff maybe that was like, I don't know, some of the new stuff, but most of Full Moon's stuff is not badly made. No, that's just because me and Jay just did that, Ben.
Yeah,
me and Jay just ranked those, so no, we didn't add those.
We decided, except for one film.
Yeah, we didn't do any franchise.
Of 2, not to do it on any specific or any multiple entries in a franchise. We decided to keep it to like one-offs, except for
the most part. There are a couple that kind of connect or have sequels here and there, but we didn't do any of the major franchises. So no Evil Bong, no Ginger Dead Man, no Puppet Master, no Subspecies. So we kind of we kept it like that.
One movie is a franchise. It's got 4 or 5 films in it.
That's what but it's not like a major.
Yeah. No. And then one has a what do you call it? A
sequel.
Not a sequel, really. It's when they take another one.
Part of the same.
They put it
universe.
Towards
well, that would be 3 then. So
no transfers either, Ben, for the same reason.
Well, technically, the one I'm talking about, which I'm pretty sure you guys are talking about as well.
Yeah.
Technically, he showed up in another movie we did, so
yeah.
It would actually make 2 crossovers. That's the word I was looking for, crossovers. But, yeah. So.
yeah. Damn, you're good. You're good, Ben. That's one of them.
And the only thing I have to say on mine is there is one movie that is very low on the list, and I will admit, though, that I need to give it another watch. I meant to before we did this, and I just didn't have time.
Yeah.
And it's just, I was very distracted when we watched that one. And
Arcade.
Yeah, I don't know if you wanted to say what the titles were. So.
Well, I mean, doesn't matter. We're gonna get to them anyway.
This was a very tough list for me because I love every movie on this list.
Yeah.
The one in last place, I still like it.
Same.
It's just very low, but rather than stuff that you don't like, stuff that you do like. I mean, putting it in a certain type of order is just really, really freaking hard.
Yeah, Danny, that's sorry.
I was going to say, it's another one of those lists where it's like, which is the less of the good? You know what I mean? Like, it's not like it's like a bunch of movies that you hate and you're like, oh God, this one's worse and this one's worse. It's more a matter of which one is better than this.
These
which
are
one
all
do I enjoy watching more.
And I got to say this, I have not, about half of these I have not seen before.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed myself. In fact, my top 2 are probably going to shock you.
Hey, Danny.
Oh, and Danny, Chaos Freak is one of my favorites as well. Like,
mine too.
And it's one of my favorite horror films. That's an awesome movie.
Hey, right.
But we didn't include that one on the list just because it is so famous. It is so well known.
Yeah, and actually, and Jason and I did it not that long ago for Fangoria too. So
yeah. Yep.
Yeah, we went with a lot of their lesser known stuff.
They have so many titles that people may have heard of, or maybe even they saw back in the 90s, but a lot of these movies don't get enough attention now, it seems.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And it was just just a fun idea for all of us to do. I mean, I'm pretty proud of my full moon VHS collection because, as we've talked about, that was like my favorite section in the video store when I was younger. I used to love seeing those full moon VHS covers on the shelves, and it's just sort of like pride and joy of my collection, being able to go back and watch these and get that nostalgic feeling of renting them on a Friday night or whatever.
Yep. I was older, of course, but yeah, I know what you mean though.
Hey, Michael.
I love to look at all the. Hey, Michael. I love to look at all the covers for the full moon, and it's just it always held a special place in my heart because I remember when the new ones would come out, I'd rent them when they would come out, and like over time, movies like The Vault and Demonicus, which aren't on this list, I mean, I saw them, and in some cases, I actually bought them, but they kind of just went by the wayside, and I think sometimes movies aren't that great, but then sometimes movies, you need to revisit them in order to remind yourself of how great they are.
Yep.
So.
Hi, Michael. Sorry, I was just waiting.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
My number one, for example, and I'm not going to give it away, obviously, it's a movie that I knew would be high. And then when we watched it, I was like, wow, this is going to be number one. And it's just, it's one of those movies that I know how much I like it, but I don't even remember how much I like it until I watch it.
Yeah.
Right. I want to say that every single one of these movies I enjoyed, actually, to a point.
Yeah.
The last two, my last 2 entries on the list, the one I need to, it doesn't, but my very last entry on the list is one that I think is probably the closest I came to not liking the films. And it's just because I just was kind of bored.
Well, you know what? I think that's a good leeway into it. So why don't you tell us, what is your last place?
Last place.
Are y'all ready?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
All right. So my number 22, my last place film is Shriekers.
Oh,
Shrieker, huh? Wow.
That fucking hurts, man. We are no longer friends.
Wow. Shrieker.
Sorry. Yeah, bad CGI, slow movie.
Oh, man.
A halfway decent plot, but I was just bored by that movie so bad.
God, I love the monster in it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's how it is. Yeah.
All right. How about you, Jason? What's your last place?
My last place.
I bet it's Scrotum.
It's
or at least rhymes with
it. Totem.
I had a feeling you were going to say that because you both talked about it before.
I like this movie. The problem with this one is, even though it has a short runtime, is that I watched it last month because I couldn't remember it, and I've had it forever, and I couldn't remember what it was, and I was kind of on a full moon kick since we were watching the Evil Bong series, so I pulled this one out and watched it, and I was just like, it's, I like it, it's fine, but then watching it again 2 weeks later, this one kind of drags for me a little bit. So, but yeah, this is my last place one. Totem is a pretty cool movie, but like I said, it's just my least favorite. So,
right,
Joe.
Same thing. Totem is my number 22. I don't dislike it. It's just like you said, even with the hour runtime, it seems like it's longer.
Yeah, it does. It does.
And which is a strange thing because typically, movies like that should fly by, more so than other movies. But it just seems like it could have been even shorter than it is, and it's already only an hour. I mean, this could have been like a 30-minute short film, and I think it probably would have worked out better.
Yeah. It would have worked out better as an entry on an anthology.
Either that, or if they could have even expanded it a little bit and give us a little bit more backstory and then made it into like a feature length to have it flow a little bit better. It's one of those things where it can't decide if it wants to be like this rushed movie or do something different, because there's some interesting story there. I do like what they did with it. I do like the story of the movie.
Yeah.
There is stuff that I like about it. It's just compared to the others, it wasn't even close for me. It's last.
Yeah.
Something I think is funny about that is when we were watching it, Joe, you said we're watching the intro, right? Mm-hmm. This was the first one we did together, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we're watching.
No, Head of the Family was the first one.
Oh yeah, Head of the Family was first.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay. Well, we're watching the intro on this one, and you texted, all right, the movie's already halfway over.
Yeah, it was a long, yeah.
Just because of the runtime.
But the funny part about that is that I really liked the intro on that movie. Like, I thought that was cool.
It was like 6 minutes long.
I know, and I liked it.
All right. Brad, number 21.
Arcade. Number 21, Arcade. But as I said, I really need to watch this one again.
Okay.
I do. I was very distracted. I just felt like it was really, really dated. And I just didn't enjoy it as much. And also, I was really built up for this one. I thought this was going to be just a knock it out of the park film. And I really was looking forward to it. And maybe because I was distracted, it didn't impress me as much. So when I was forming this list, I was like, well, I can't put it higher than any of these other movies that I really, that wouldn't be fair to those other films. So that's why it's in this play in 21.
All right. What do you got, Jason? 21.
21 is when I moved, and then I moved back.
Okay.
Because I had to look at the entirety of the list, and it's going to be Ragdoll.
Okay.
Now, it's kind of weird because when I watched this, I was super excited to see this again because I hadn't seen it in a while. Mm-hmm. But I don't know how to explain it. Like, it just, for some reason, it just didn't click with me when I was watching it. It like, I like this movie. So, but what I did was I went back and I rewatched it after we watched it together again. And I liked it more, but I just couldn't move it any higher. It's just kind of the way it is. But yeah, I did watch it again. I did get more enjoyment out of it, but not enough to put it over top of my next entry.
So once again, I agree with you. Mine is Ragdoll, and for me, it was the movie for whatever reason, and the same thing. I think I liked it more when I watched it originally. When we watched it all together, it was the movie that I most just wanted to end at a certain point. And not that it's bad, but it was just like, okay, I've had enough now. Yeah. Like, I think there was like a point where it probably could have ended, but then it went on a little bit longer than it should have. And it's not even a long movie, but again, it just, it wasn't holding my attention as much as the others. Yeah. Again, with that being said, I do like all of the movies on this list that we watched, but I could not see putting this higher than the others other than Totem.
Yeah. And this kind of goes back to what I was saying before about when I used to go to the video store and rent the Full Moon movies. This was like one of the ones I remember when it first came in, and I rented it. And I took it home and I freaking loved it. But and like I said, when I watched it again, I did get more enjoyment out of it, but it just kind of is where it is. It landed where it landed. Plus, I wanted to see more kills with the doll. But
I would love to have seen that girl in more movies, though.
Yeah.
She's all right. And don't put it away yet, Jason, because Ragdoll is my.
That's your number 20?
Mm-hmm. Now, I liked every movie from here up. I really liked a lot. I liked them all. They were fun. I liked them all, and I really did like Ragdoll. The only thing I thought was that I thought that they could have done a better job with the puppet. And I thought, like you said, I would like to have seen some more kills with the puppet.
Yeah.
You know, or like a lot of these have multiple puppets. You know, a lot of
Yeah.
So Full Moon's kind of known for their puppet films, and I like that. But I just would like to have seen more.
You didn't like the way Ragdoll looks?
I don't like. It's not that I didn't like the way it looked. I thought that they could have done
more with it,
a better job with it, making it more, giving it more personality. You know, more than like you look at other ones like even like Blood Dolls or Puppet Master or whatever. They all have like personality. Even stuff like Hideous, they all have personality. Each one. I just thought we could have gotten a little more there.
Yeah, Ragdoll is just basically a doll that's just killing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like it's almost like she's not a character, whereas those other ones you mentioned are like characters in the film.
Right. It's like they're their own characters. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Magic of the killing kind. All right. So I guess that means me.
Yep, number 20.
Surprisingly enough, mine is going to be Killjoy, the first one.
Okay.
And this was the one that we did that was definitely part of a series. I like this movie a lot. I think this movie is fantastic. But it is one of the cheaper and cheesier movies. And I do like the guy that plays Killjoy later on in the films. But I also do like this guy. I think he did a really good job for what he had.
Yeah, it's fun. I think it's fun.
Yeah, I like it. I do like the movie, but I couldn't see it putting it. This one and my number 19 one could have probably changed, but I went with the number 19 one because of the music, but I'll get there when I get there. But yeah, Killjoy comes in at number 20 for me.
Killjoy and Ragdoll are both kind of considered like hood movies.
Yeah,
and I mean, Full Moon actually has a label that's aimed like a sub-label aimed at urban, black, and
big city.
I kind of feel like they don't give them the same budget as some of the other films.
I don't know. They did more with some of those movies than they did with some of the other ones.
I'm not talking about like Killjoy. I'm talking about not the second or third or fourth. I'm not talking about like Killjoy Goes Hell. That one had a pretty decent, all that stuff. But I'm talking about like the first entries. I think that they didn't always give some of the best budgets to.
Maybe. Joe?
All right, number 20 for me is Netherworld.
All right.
This one kind of bounced around a little bit for me, because there's a lot I really like about this movie, but I don't know why. I can't get into the bird thing with it. It just like the whole bird aspect of it.
It is, yeah. It does, like Brad said when we were watching. It does have a pretty. The bird motif is pretty much in the entire film.
Yeah. I wish I could have done. I think it would have been better without so much of that.
Yeah.
Because I love like the rest of the movie a lot. Like I love the locations in this one. It has like that really surreal, misty look to it through like the whole thing.
Yep.
Even like the indoor like the even like the indoor with the bar and the plants and stuff. Like everything just looks like it looks very 90s.
It does.
It has that look to it. It reminds me of like a witchcraft movie in that way, and like another one on this list does. I love all of that about it, but the whole bird thing was just a little too much for me. Not that it was bad, just that was sort of my that's what my justification is to have it this low, I guess.
I get that. All right, we're on number 19. Brad?
Coming in number 19 for me is Bad Channels.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you hear me? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess I kind of expected a reaction there.
Why?
Good film. I enjoyed it. I thought it was kind of a fun alien film. I liked the way the alien looked. I liked the Doll Man cameo at the end.
Yeah.
But I just found myself just kind of, while I was watching it, just kind of not really feeling it. And I kind of was looking down at my phone more often, and just, it was good. It just wasn't as good as some of the others.
Yeah, but it had Rabbit.
It did. It did have Rabbit.
Rabbit want to grab it.
Rabbit want to grab it.
All right, Jason, what do you get for 19?
Done 3 of those movies.
Did you?
I can't remember where.
Oh yeah, you did. Yeah. My number 19 is Netherworld.
Okay.
And the reason why it took a little bit over Killjoy was because of the music. I love the blues music. I love the fact that one of the Winters brothers played the saxophone in the kind of like the house band. Mm-hmm. I like the whole hand thing, but Brad and Joe both mentioned the whole bird motif. It kind of didn't make sense. It did, but it didn't. And there was a little bit too much of it.
Yeah, there's too much. That's all. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
All right.
So.
And that was your number 20, right, Joe?
That was my number 20. Yeah.
Yeah. Mine was number 19. Joe, your number 19?
My number 19, with Brad on this, is Bad Channels.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
Again, I'm going to keep saying it. I really like all of these films, especially from this point forward. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's really hard to rank a lot of these. But for me,
got to go somewhere.
It's a really fun movie, but I think it's a type of movie that I think I need to be in the mood for. Yeah. And it's not to say that I wasn't in the mood for it when we watched it, because I really was enjoying it. But it's not one that I'm just going to put on at any given time, as opposed to some of the others when I can kind of be in any mood and watch the others. Yeah. That one, I just really kind of have to be in the mood for that sort of cheesy, fun. I don't know, almost just the way it's like I said, it feels like an MTV music video.
Yes, it does.
Which is ironic because Martha Quinn, the first MTV VJ, stars in Bad Channels.
Yep.
So it has that feel to it. Like it really does feel like you're watching a feature length MTV music video from the 90s, and that's not a bad thing. I just have to be in the mood for that. Right. Especially when it's going on for so long, like for a 90-minute movie or whatever, if it's a short film, if it actually was a music video, then it'd probably rank higher. But the fact that it's a feature length, basically music video with a fun alien, don't get me wrong, I like the creature in it and stuff, and I like the story, but I just couldn't see putting it any higher than I have it here. So that's my number 19.
I get that.
And Joe, the way you put it, you just may not been in the mood for it. That's kind of how I feel, honestly. Even though it was a first time watch, maybe I would enjoy it more if, like, say I was on like an 80s kick and I was watching a lot of like Thriller and Michael Jackson videos, or like some MTV highlight stuff, and then got in the mood. That it might come off a little better for me. I think that perfectly explains it.
Yeah, it is a really fun movie. For anybody watching this stream right now that hasn't watched it, don't let our rankings of these put you off to seeing them, because
we love them all.
Even though I have it ranked at number 19, Bad Channels is a really fun movie, and
it is. It's
definitely worth checking out. It's because of the negatives, because of the fact that it really does feel like a bizarre 90s music video. So
Hi, Verge.
It's worth checking out just for that alone.
Hey, Verge.
Yeah, and some of these were a struggle for me to get to at times, but like. Just because it wasn't because of the movies. Don't get me wrong. I'm not
right.
It's because I was tired or I was doing this.
Yeah, I get that.
One of them, I was driving.
Yeah.
Like, huh?
All right, Brad. Number 18. What do you got?
Number 18.
Okay, so this is really funny. I find this very hilarious.
Hey, Shark.
Number 18 for me is Netherworld.
Okay.
Wow.
Which for Jason it's 19, or for Joe, for you Jason it's 18,
no, 2019-18.
Yes, 2019, exactly. Yeah. So I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
But I think that even though I really enjoyed it, it kind of started off, and then like we got that one thing in the beginning, and then it just kind of slowed down and dragged for a while.
It did.
Yeah.
And then it picks up again. I do really like the David Bryan score. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
You know, and there's some good stuff that I definitely want to. I think they could have done, if they would have changed this a little bit, I would have had a lot more fun with it than I did. But I really enjoyed the third act.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me too. Hey, we made it to our second movie where all three of us did something on it.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Jason.
Mine.
Thank you. That's awesome, dude. I'm glad you really liked it.
Number 18, Jason.
Ugh, you guys are gonna have a problem with this. I knew that, but that's all right. Mine's gonna be Dollman.
Okay.
Wow.
I like Dollman a lot. I especially like Jackie Earle Haley in it. I think he does play a good bad guy, as he did with Nightmare on Elm Street, and also in The Watchmen. Although he kind of was good guy and a bad guy in The Watchmen, but
hey, Rorschach is a good guy.
yeah, yeah, anti-hero, whatever you want to call him.
He is a hero.
Yeah. This is a really fun movie, but I found myself kind of like Brad said, I wasn't really on my phone, but I was kind of like not paying attention as much. Maybe it's because I've seen it so many times. I don't know.
So what you guys are telling me is I sit here watching these movies by myself like an asshole.
No, I watched them. But, if I got bored, I would just kind of glance off. And
yeah.
I keep telling you we should be watching them over Messenger together, like on screen.
Nope. But
it's more fun.
I don't know. I do like it. And I like Tim Thomerson, but I tend to like his Jack Death character a little bit better in Trancers, but that's just me. But yeah, that's Dollman for me at number 18.
My number 18 is also Dollman, and I had it in like this vicinity for a little bit, and I was looking at my ranking, trying to figure out where to put it. And what it really came down to is there was Dollman and Bad Channels, which connect. So I was like, okay, I like Dollman more. I'm putting Dollman right above Bad Channels because they're part of the same universe. It was sort of my way to just kind of figure out where Dollman was going to go because I had a little bit higher, a little bit lower, and I was like, all right, this is a good spot for it. I really like it a lot too.
Yeah.
Again, it's another one that has like a really great like early '90s feel. There's almost some like there's almost something about it that I don't know how to explain it, but it reminds me of like a '90s like something you'd watch, not like an after school special, but something you'd come home and you'd watch on the TV, like it'd be on. Like it just has like that feel to it, like some like '90s TV movie that's on at like 3 p.m. I don't know why. I just always have that feeling when I watch the movie. And there's a lot I like about it. I really like Jackie Earle Haley as well. I like the effects and I think they look really good. For the time that it was made. It looks pretty legit. Like he looks the 13 inches that he's supposed to look. It looks pretty cool. It could have looked a lot worse. You know what I mean? It could look really stupid, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
It looks good. So
totally disgusted with you both right now. Completely.
But yeah, I just compared to the other movies, I can't put it higher than any of the others. So
he's giving me a hard time about Dollman, but he has it in the same spot. You bastard, you.
Me?
Yeah.
Not me. Brad's gonna give you the hard time about Dollman.
Yeah. That movie, I just loved it. I thought it was phenomenal.
It's fun. It really is. But there's some movies that you can watch multiple times, and there are some movies that don't go over quite as well as maybe they did the first time you saw them. And I think this might be one of those movies for me.
I don't know. I'm already ready to watch it again. So
I watch it anytime because I like all these movies.
By the way, I don't know if you know, but Sharkbite is Jason.
Oh, Jason number 1?
Yeah, that's why he called you Jason number 1.
Nice. Hey, Jason number 1.
Yes, I think it is.
Final DVD.
eBay is where you get a lot of
eBay, thrift stores. Some of them I got from Full Moon.
Full moon's
Amazon.
I watched a lot of mine. When we did these, I watched a lot of them on tape, like I said, because I actually have a bigger full moon VHS collection than I think I do full moon DVD collection.
Yes, you do.
You know, one that I wish we would have put on the list, I don't know, maybe it's because you didn't have it, Joe, was Demonicus. I've been wanting to watch that forever.
I don't think I have that one.
I can't find my copy of it. I know I have it somewhere.
I have it on VHS. I really like the cover, but I've been wanting to watch it.
The cover's cool.
All right, Brad, number 17. What do you got?
The movie's not so much, but yeah.
Number 17 for me is Hideous.
Okay.
No.
I really enjoyed it, man. I did. I really enjoyed that movie a lot. I really enjoyed the female villain.
Yeah.
I mean, like 3/4 of the movie, she's like, you know.
Yeah.
No, Brad, I don't know.
I really enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed the setting a lot.
Yeah.
Really,
the castle's cool.
I like that it was like a Scooby-Doo castle. It had like trap doors and all kinds of like hidden chambers. Where I thought they dropped it, honestly, was with the creatures.
Oh, I love the creatures.
Thought the creatures they were cool, well designed. They look cool, but I thought that I don't know. I thought that they weren't as
memorable
out there as I was hoping they would be. Yeah, memorable. Yeah. That might be the right word.
Oh, they're pretty messed up looking.
They're hideous.
Yeah. Or if you have the sign up, I'm telling you guys right now, there's some sign up for the full moon service. They give you like free gifts of physical media for signing up. I mean, definitely sign up for the full moon streaming service. $70 for a year, and you get like a box set or 10 Blu-rays or of your choice. I mean, they got cool stuff. So,
All right, Jason, what do you got for 17?
I'm not going to be popular, but that's all right.
Anytime you say that, I cringe.
It's going to be arcade. I like arcade a lot, but for me, the ones that are above this, I like. The ones that are above it, I like a little bit more, and then of course the ones that are up at the top of the list are like my favorites. Mm-hmm. Arcade is a lot of fun. It does feel a little bit dated, but that's not exactly what bothers me about it. What bothers me, and this is going to sound really stupid, but is Megan Ward's the lead girl, right?
Yeah.
Why did they have to dress her up like fucking Holly Hobby?
Yeah.
Throughout the entire film.
Yeah.
It bothers me. It really does. And you figure when she gets a clothes change, they dress her up like Holly Hobby. I'm like, what the fuck? And then when she's in that skin tight black outfit, she's rocking something.
Yeah.
But it bothers me. I don't know why it bothers me like it does, but it does. So, but yeah, that's why. One of the reasons why Arcade's at number
17.
17 for me. Joe?
Well, you want to give Arcade number 17? Here's one for you. You know what my number 17 is?
He's like fighting you now.
It is
fighting words.
Crawl Space.
Wow.
Yep. I'll tell you why. I went back and forth with this. Crawl Space, in a ranking of full moon movies, feels the least like a full moon movie. I
will say that I agree with you.
But it's a good movie.
It is, but it's just the way my mind works ranking these things. It's like, I'm ranking these as a list of full moon. It's not like I have it ranked last because it doesn't feel like a full moon. I still had to rank it. I mean, I almost ranked it a little bit lower. I almost ranked it a lot higher. But going back and forth, I'm like, okay, I'm looking at this list of ranking full moon movies, not ranking movies in general. So I'm like, there's all these other full moon movies that I really love on this list. Do I want to put them lower simply because this is an objectively good movie?
Yeah.
Because like we were saying at the start of this, just because some of my favorites might not be the objectively best made movies, but I still really like them. This is one of those cases where Crawl Space may be one of the best, if not the best made movie on the list. But is that enough alone to make me have it as like number one? It's an awesome movie, but again, on a list of full moon, I want to put the others higher.
And it's funny you say that, you know. I mean, with every list that I do, just like, and with this list even, I still brought it down to what I enjoy the most.
Yeah.
And when we get higher up on the list, what you said about it being a full moon, less feeling full moon, when we get higher up, you're going to notice on mine that some of them kind of that way.
Yeah.
All
right, 16, Brad.
16 for me is the original Killjoy. Okay. And for those of you out there, this is the only franchise movie we've really put on the list.
Yeah, pretty much.
I bet. And by the way, I'll take blame for that because that was one of my picks when we picked our movies. But I just really felt like watching Killjoy, so I said I'm picking Killjoy.
I reviewed this movie almost 2 years ago, probably. I don't know. It's been a couple of years. It's been a while. And I said it kind of when I renewed it too. It's an old concept, but it's got a ghetto killer clown, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't like the guy that plays Killjoy in this one so much as I like the guy that plays Killjoy in the rest of the franchise.
Yep.
But this one, I always thought I liked part 2 more, but I think this time when we watched this one, I think 1 kind of nudged 2 out of the way for that.
Yeah, 2 is definitely my least favorite, and I'm actually I'm ranking all the Killjoy movies, so kind of gave that away, but that's all right.
Yeah. I'm going to do mine, but I'm going to do mine after yours because I still have to review one more film.
Yeah.
So I got to review one more film for it. Which, by the way, if you want to check out my reviews of those, you have to go to the Body Bags channel for most of them.
You put that on your own channel, didn't you?
I do have a playlist of the movies I did on Body Bags, and I put Killjoy as its own. I also put a playlist just for the Killjoy movies. So even though they are on a different channel, they're in the playlist. You can look for them on my channel.
All right, my number 16 is Robot Jocks. And it is number 16. It is number 16 because I didn't know where else to put it, and that's kind of where it fell. I like this movie a lot. I actually liked it better the time that we watched it together than I did when I watched it before. I think the robots are cool, and Stuart Gord's always been one of my favorite directors, and I thought he did a great job with it. And I still don't know how they did some of the effects for the robots. I just thought that it's a really cool movie, but that's just kind of where it fell for me.
Wow.
But I do like Robot Jocks a lot. Maybe it's because somebody else has the Screen Factory. I don't know.
Oh, who's that?
I know that Jason has seen Ooga Booga. I'm not sure about Joe. I have not. I want to see it. I wanted to put it. Well, I wanted to put it during this thing, but we just kind of picked from that list you put. So,
Ooga Booga. Yes, Ooga Booga is awesome.
Yeah, I agree on that, Ben. I agree.
Yeah, I love the movie. This is where it went for me because I couldn't see it putting it any higher than some of the other movies, and I couldn't see it putting it any lower than some of the other movies. So it kind of fell where it fell for me. Joe?
Number 16 for me is The Pit and the Pendulum.
Oh,
Joe, friendship over.
For me, my justification for this is it really plays out like a period piece. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like it's another one that I think I kind of have to be in the mood for. And again, it's not to say that I wasn't when we watched it because I was enjoying every second of it. And it's a movie that I love. But when rankings like this are so close, I'm trying to look for reasons of how I can just put something lower, not how I can put something higher, but how I can put something lower because I like everything so much.
Right.
And for this one, again, it's one of those movies where I'm not always going to be in the mood for that type of movie in that sort of historical setting. And that's just kind of why it ended up here for me. Again, I'm a big Stuart Gordon fan. There's some long nude scenes in this movie, which I'm not going to complain about those.
Nope.
So there's a lot of good stuff in The Pit and the Pendulum for sure. It's just I just find myself probably wanting to watch the others a bit more if I wanted to watch a full moon movie.
Yep.
So it's number 16 for me.
Keep in mind, guys, this is coming from a guy who has a segment called Positive Spin. I just try to find ways to put things lower.
Because I'm saying I have so many positives for them. Yeah,
I know. It's hard to find ways to put them lower.
It's just funny. I just thought that was so funny when you said that, though, because you're like, when I do lists, I look for reasons to put things lower.
Yeah, because I have so many positives for all of them that I'm literally looking for something negative to find.
Yeah, Joe, I'm waiting for a movie that you don't like, okay? Because you like Hellraiser Revelations. That just tells me that you like everything.
I'll tell you what. There's one coming in a couple of months' time. Don't worry.
Okay.
There's one coming.
There's two coming too.
We still gave it a positive spin, but I make it very clear that it is a movie that I do not like.
Yeah.
Well, we're at number 15, right?
15, yep.
You mind if we take a 2-second break so I can go grab my water?
Absolutely not. You should have got that ready before you started.
That's right.
It won't hurt you. I'll be right back.
I'm counting.
Thing about putting the pendulum, Joe, I kind of felt that way too. But that was actually the one in our list that I was looking forward to watching the most.
I know you were, yeah.
Because that's the one I hadn't seen in the longest amount of time.
Yeah, and I hadn't seen it in a while either. And I like I said, I really enjoyed it while we were watching it. I just think, again, as I'm looking for reasons to make something lower than something else, that's kind of what came into play for me. I was like, it has that, that historical setting.
Yeah.
It almost, for some reason, it always feels like it's one of those movies that's going to start out in that setting and then do like a time jump. In present time, like a lot of movies do, and a lot of full moon movies do, and that one just doesn't. It just stays put.
I will say that in my list, it's at a certain spot, but it fell a couple places.
I can go do it in there. It was just
more
comfortable.
So, that was one of the things with me.
It was just more comfortable to sit or something that supports my back.
But yeah. Exactly. Jason, number 1.
Yeah. You get the 3 Bs in a lot of these.
Good Lord.
I mean, especially the pit and the pendulum.
Yes.
There's a gratuitous crotch shot. Never mind boobs.
Yeah. And it's funny because for some reason I like movies like that. There's the historical timepieces where they're being tortured because either they think that they're witches or that they're not in line with the Catholic Church, whatever. But I like movies like that, like Mark of the Devil. I always like that movie. And they're all in these dungeons and castles and shit. I love it. I just think it's so cool.
I love that too. I also love that every time when I watch it now, every single time I'm going to be going, the Inquisition.
Talkamada. Do not ask him for forgiveness.
Yep.
Let's face it, you can't talk him out of anything.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen History of the World Part 1, Joe?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. It's too much.
Love it. Absolutely love that movie.
Yeah, me too.
And I was one of those suckers that waited for History of the World Part 2 for years.
Jews in space.
Yep. All right. I'm sure you're ready to go again.
Number 15.
15 for me is Seed People.
Oh.
Thanks. Oh.
There we go.
Yeah, Shark Fight is Lance Henriksen.
Come on, Joe. Do it with the Italian accent, the Jersey accent. Oh. Good.
Oh.
I like Sea People. It came off as very Critters to me, and I was just like, okay, whatever. But I did enjoy it.
Yeah, Jason, that's the one.
I like the look of the creatures. It was cool.
Yeah.
So.
How about you, Jason? Number 15?
Number 15 is going to be... all the way to the top there. All right. Is going to be Hideous.
Okay.
This one kind of went where it went, and it stayed, even though there was ones that kind of came in that were above it and below it. So it was kind of one that I didn't really move around too much.
Yep.
I love the castle. The girl, the topless girl, was awesome throughout the entire film, just about. And actually, if you watch Trophy Heads, she talks about her role in that film being topless throughout the entire film. I like the creatures a lot.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't really much I didn't like about it. I even liked the beginning where the sanitation workers are netting all the dookie and trying to find all the stuff in the shit. So, I mean, I just love this movie. It's a lot of fun. And I think 15 out of 22 movies that I pretty much love, I don't think that's too bad.
Everything's got to go in a place. We're doing a ranking. It's got to go somewhere.
Right. Joe?
Number 15 for me is also Hideous.
I was only 2 spots above, and you guys gave me a hard time.
I really love the castle. I do like the creatures as well. I love how, when they're writing the notes and they're trying to distinguish what they're saying in the notes.
Yes.
I love that. It's like you feel for the creatures, like they're trying.
Yeah, they are.
They're trying their best. I don't know. It's a really fun movie to now. This to me is a full moon movie that I can just put on and have a lot of fun with, like at any given time.
Anytime.
I feel like I don't need to be in the mood for it. It's just you watch it and it's full moon.
Yep.
Like this is a full moon movie, and like you said, I mean, hearing you say it, 15 out of 22 makes it sound like it's so much lower than it should be.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Again, it just tells you how much I like these films that are above it, because I really like Hideous.
Like I said, this was really a hard ranking for me because it's not hard to rank movies that I'm not as fond of because I know where they go. Yep. But when you start getting into the movies that I really like, it's like little minuscule things that separate it from the other ones.
Exactly.
So, that's just kind of how it is for me. Yep. Yeah, it does. I want to see that one, Attack of the 50-Foot Cam Girl. It's getting a release pretty soon, but
it's on the streaming service, I think, already.
Yeah, it is, but I don't think it's coming out on Blu-ray because I just got something from Diabolic DVD where it showed that it was coming out. You can place your pre-order for it.
Oh, really? They're going to go through Diabolic with it, huh?
With that one, yeah. It might be a different company, but I know it was made through Full Moon, so.
Right.
All right, number 14, Brad.
Well, I know you guys have been waiting for this one and wondering where I was going to put it, but number 14 for me is Totem.
It's the scrotum.
That is very, very high.
I enjoyed it, guys. I did. I liked this movie.
I like it too.
I actually enjoyed it all the way. I liked the concept. I liked the creature design. And I actually thought it was refreshing that there was no nudity in it. I mean, I don't mind that, but, it's like every full moon movie has it. So this one didn't. It didn't feel like it had to rely on it.
That should make it. And you complain the whole time.
That should make it drop down. No. You also mentioned how it had a Scream-like cast to it when we watched it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I did. I just was having fun with that movie. I thought it was fun the whole way through.
Yeah, it's a good. Like I said, I picked this by mistake. I don't know if Joe told you that.
You thought it was Talisman?
No, you told me that. You thought
I thought it was Talisman.
Mm-hmm.
And I picked it by mistake, and I'm like, oh man, I gotta watch that again.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it enough to where I bought it. I mean, I enjoyed it.
It will be a watch for me, but this is like Joe and I were just saying. Yes, it feels like a full moon picture, but this is not one. This is one I have to kind of be in the mood for. So, with that being said, and I'm kind of
concept.
Yeah, I like the concept too. I like
it looks very much. It looks very much like a David Descartes film. It does.
Motherfucker.
This
is my number 14, and it's kind of the same reason.
Bad chinos, huh?
Because I kind of have to be in the mood to watch it. Yes, I love this movie. I think it's a lot of fun. I like the whole 90s, although for me it feels like an 80s film because of like the whole heavy metal thing going on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I like rabbits in it. I just think it's a lot of fun. But I kind of like movies with more creatures in it. Okay. So more creatures and more puppets, because that to me, that's where it feels like a full moon movie.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where it fell for me. I do love the movie though. I think it's great, but It's 14 though. So.
By the way, Joe, I think it's pronounced Dakota. I could be wrong on that though.
I say Dekatu because of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Because he says, I thought it was pronounced Caleb Dakota. And she's like, I think it's Dekatu.
Yeah.
Dekatu.
Right. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Dekatu. Joe, you're number 14?
My number 14 is Lurking Fear.
Oh.
That's kind of a hard one for me to. Okay.
Lurking Fear, I will say it. All right. So my 15, 14, and 13 all sort of transition into each other. Because 15, you had Hideous, which had a really awesome castle, which I loved. But I love the castle in Lurking Fear, maybe even more. I just love that setting in Lurking Fear.
Yeah.
So that kind of brought me to this one. And the setting for me is huge in this. I also love the look of the creatures.
Fuck yeah.
So cool. I love that you have friggin', Kirsty Cotton from Hellraiser in this one.
Yes.
You got Jeffrey Combs. It's just a fun movie. Another one that really feels like Full Moon. And it's one that I've always liked. And this is the one, guys, that we almost didn't watch because Jason had originally picked Witch House, couldn't find his copy, so then we decided to do Lurking Fear instead.
And I'm glad, even though I still want to see Witch House. I'm glad we.
Yeah, me too. It would be nice, wouldn't it?
I was actually thinking when we were making our picks that Jason was going to pick Lurking Fear because I know he's a fan of this one and we had talked about it. And then when he didn't pick it, I was like, wow, it totally slipped all of our lists. And so it kind of worked out in the end that we got to watch it anyway, because I do think it's a good one to watch and to bring some attention to.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the closest one to Castle Freak on this list.
I've always felt like they are similar. I mean, with the whole Jeffrey Combs connection, the castle setting, obviously the way the creature looks in a way, there's just something about it that.
Yeah, the way definitely. it wasn't like a puppet creature. I think it was actually a person or that.
Yeah. He got two.
All
right, number 13, Brad.
Well, take it away, Brad.
Speaking of Dekatu, my number 13 is, and this is going to kill everybody, Sorority Babes and the Slime Ball Bolorama.
Okay.
Huh.
I know everybody loves this movie, and I do. I really, really liked it. It was a blast. It's like fun. It's insane. Okay. This movie, not as bad as like Santa Sangre, by the way, which I loved, by the way. But amazing. It's like it's just absolutely crazy.
It is, yeah.
And I've seen this one before, but I was like, man, I didn't remember it being this nuts before. Like, it's like it has no direction. It's like, let's just throw this in there and that in there and this in there.
To me, it feels like a sex comedy meets horror film.
Yes, very much.
Yeah.
It's basically like you said, we were watching. Was it you that said it's like they took Porky's?
Yeah, it's like it is. It's like
yeah. I did like it a lot, but it is coming in at the number 13 spot for me, which is funny because he also did Totem. So 13 and 14.
It's surprised that David Dekatu didn't just title it Scrotum like we keep calling
it. Dekatu. Fucking Dekatu. All right. Is this Dekatu? Nope. All right. My 13 is Sea People.
Okay.
People.
This was a tough one for me because I wanted this to be higher, but it couldn't go any higher for obvious reasons because I like a lot of the other movies better. This was actually one that moved around. This was number 11 at one time. It is now number 13, and that's kind of where it just kind of rests and stays. So, and I do feel it is. I don't think it's enough like Critters for that to be a downer for me. I think that if anything, it's kind of fun that they kind of threw a nod to Critters a little bit. So, but
it made me want to watch Ghoulies again.
That's Full Moon. All right, Joe.
All right, number 13 for me is Shrieker. So I love Shrieker. I think you said this too, though, Jason. When we watched it, it didn't rank as high as I thought it was going to.
Right.
I really like the creature. I actually do like the story. Kind of the jumping through through time loops and all that, you know.
Yep.
And I always thought that was cool. I mean, I even have the Shrieker full moon figure because I always liked this movie.
Me too.
I like the concept of, you know, them living in the abandoned hospital and stuff, and that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's just for some reason I don't want to say I didn't like it as much. It's just compared to watching so many full moon movies together, it made me kind of put into perspective the reality of how much I like it compared to other full moon movies.
Felt the same way.
I'm still a big fan of it. It's just I apparently like 12 more on this list more than this one.
I expected this to be number 1 on my list.
I thought it would be for you
really,
originally.
And it's not.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you'll be surprised how far it does rank, and it could go down one more space. But probably not.
Well, did you say that a lot of people crap on this movie? I mean,
a lot of people crap on all full moon movies.
But you said in particular that a lot of people, when we were watching it, people don't like that one. I mean, I'm not sure why, but
a lot of people don't. Yeah. I mean, I'm not really sure why, but I don't think it has a strong following. I liked it. I always liked it because of the creature itself, and I like the Perry Shens in it. I mean, the guy from Hatchet, and
yeah,
you know, that was his first movie role. I thought that was pretty cool.
What did you say? He went from whatever to doing boat rides or something?
He went from being in the hospital to giving boat rides in Louisiana.
Yeah.
And then to sucking cock in a hospital. So yeah, that's where he is now. But
all right. So Brad, number 12.
No.
All right. So I know we.
Well, okay. I'm with you.
Yeah, that was my 13. Yeah.
So I know that we always, like, everybody puts preference on the top 10, including myself. I even have a segment called Top 10. But from here up, 12 up, every single one of these movies, in my opinion, is solid gold. I really loved every single one of these. And this one, to me, is the biggest surprise on the list. Okay. I can't believe I liked this movie as much as I did, but it turned into such a good, fun story. And I just absolutely loved it. And for me, it's Robot Jocks.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Number 12 is Robot Jocks. And we live in a world where we have movies like Pacific Rim, you know? That's like Robot Jocks and Transformers. But like Robot Jocks is more Pacific Rim because there's a guy inside, you know what I mean? But like,
yeah,
we have those kind of films where something like Robot Jocks shouldn't even rank on the radar. But something about this movie was just a blast. And like, what's his name? Ben said earlier, the effects, even though they're very old school, you know, early 90s, they were just cool and they were fun. And I had a blast with Robot Jocks. I really felt myself sucked into that movie.
Yeah. I actually got it mixed up with what was the one I got it mixed up with, Joe?
Robot Cox.
Yeah. No. You're a fucker. Robot Wars. That's the one I got mixed up with.
Robot Wars.
Yeah.
And you said this was a Scream Factory. I got to get that.
No, you don't.
No, Scream Factory is like $100 and something now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got lucky. I bought it like a week before it went out of print, not even knowing it was going out of print.
It's really expensive now.
I'll find it somewhere.
I've like never seen that even in person, other than the one I ordered mine from Amazon. Like when Scream Factory released it, it just wasn't one of those ones that was like around either.
Yeah,
it's like they barely gave anybody a chance to get it.
Yeah, it's like fuck you guys.
Yeah,
you don't deserve it. All right, number 12 for me is Lurking Fear.
Okay.
Man, you guys are killing me with that.
Again, I really enjoyed this. Well, I thought you would have already mentioned it, Brad, because you said you wanted to know more about it. You said they should have gone to more of the history and.
Oh, I do, like but I still really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's a really fun movie. I love the characters, or the zombie like guys, the denizens of the underworld. I like the setting. I love the gothic settings that are in Full Moon. It's almost like a budget Hammer, if that's even possible. But Lurking Fear is a lot of fun. Yeah, it's a good movie. And number 12, yeah.
Number 12.
Number 12.
Number 12 for me is Killjoy. This one danced around. This one danced around a lot for me. I really like Killjoy. I know this is one that kind of gets crapped on. I mean, people say they like the Killjoy series, but for some reason it still gets a lot of crap, you know. And I do. I like it. I mean, I prefer. I mean, I've only seen the first three. I do prefer the guy who played him in, 2 and 3, but it doesn't really take me out of it because in one of those things where it's like, well, this guy was the original Killjoy technically, so I'm not going to fault him on it. He kind of established the character, and I just like it. I have a lot of fun with it. I like the whole, the ice cream truck thing, like going into the whole different realm. And it's a short movie. It's a movie that you can kind of put on in the background and have fun and have a drink and laugh, and it's just entertaining from start to finish. It doesn't get dull. It doesn't drag on too long. There's a lot of good stuff in there. I like the use of the doll more than Ragdoll uses it. You know what I mean? So
I agree, Ghost Rider.
Yeah,
It's funny you say you only saw the first 3 because I think, and this is just my small opinion, I think 4 and 5 are probably the best films.
That's what I hear. I just don't have them, so I gotta get them eventually.
At least 4 is. I know 4. I love 4.
3 and 4 are my two favorites, and 4
is really good too.
My favorite. I love 3, and then from there on, I mean, 2 is my least favorite because, like Joe said, I love the whole ice cream truck thing, and they completely scrubbed that in the second one.
Yeah,
and I mean, you have a whole movie of Debbie Rochon, and she does not once get naked.
Yeah, because they're killing your joy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why it's called Killjoy.
Yeah. So,
hey Bones, hey Ghost Rider.
But yeah, this is Killjoy gets better as they go, except for the second one. Second one is just, it's like they were insulting me or trying to piss me off intentionally. So
that's number 12 for me. Number 11, Brad.
Number 11, and this one, okay. When we started watching these, and I was kind of like, I was trying to rank them as I went, and that didn't really work. But this one, when I first put my first ranking together, this one was going to be number 4, but it's now down to number 11 because we watched more movies that I just like. Mm-hmm. But for me, number 11 is Sideshow.
Wow. Okay.
I had a blast with this film. Not much I can say about it that's not bad. I love the atmosphere. I loved the effects. And what else did I write here? I always write things I wanted to talk about, but the makeup. I loved the makeup jobs on the
Hell movie. Yeah. They did a fantastic job, and it was dedicated to Greg Nicotero, wasn't it?
Yes, I think so. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, really, really enjoyed Sideshow, but like you said, everything's got to go somewhere. So,
okay.
And it was a battle for this one and number 10. It was a battle between those two.
How about you, Jason? Number 11.
Number 11 is going to be Sorority Babes at the Slime Bowl-orama. They always have a really good time with this.
You couldn't even put them in the top 10 for the 10-pin bowling. Come on.
It's just a lot of fun. It's not a movie I take seriously. I don't think it really demands to be taken seriously.
No.
But it's almost like this is going to sound weird, but you could watch this and never know you've seen it if you've seen all the other Full Moon movies. Does that sound weird?
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's just like it takes a little bit of everything that's good about Full Moon and it puts it into one film, whether it works or not. And sometimes it just doesn't work. But I do like it. It's a really fun movie. So
yeah, Ghost Rider, we're big fans of Exorcist 3. I know Jason and I are.
Yeah.
Brad, what are your thoughts on Exorcist 3, Brad? I don't think I know that.
You don't know because I still haven't watched it.
Yeah, well, Exorcist 3, Jason and I had done it for Fangoria, right? Mm-hmm. It was Fangoria. And I love it. I mean, I personally, Exorcist 3, I prefer to the original. That's how much I love Exorcist 3.
I know you both have told me that I don't have to do this, but the reason why I haven't watched Exorcist 3 is because I don't have, and haven't seen it playing anywhere where I can watch Exorcist 2. And I need to watch Exorcist 2 before I watch Exorcist 3. I know you told me I don't have to.
I get it because I'm the same way, but truly, this is like a case where you really don't.
I know you said it's just here. I got to watch 2 first.
Yeah.
I try not to do that. I try never to skip an entry, but
yeah,
it's happened on occasion, but I really try not to. So,
all right, my number 11 is Robot Jocks. I love Robot Jocks. This in my number 10 actually we're kind of duking it out, fittingly so, I guess, being Robot Jocks, kind of in a battle of what was going to make the top 10. And my number 10 got it just because of nostalgia, whereas Robot Jocks I didn't see until like later on.
Yeah, me neither.
So I let nostalgia win to get the top 10 spot. But Robot Jocks I have a blast with. It for some reason it gives me the same vibe as Starship Troopers, even though they're not fighting like aliens and stuff like that. Just like the feel of it, like it has like that sort of like futuristic vibe of like the way they talk and everything. Like I don't know. Yeah, when I watch it, I do. I think of Starship Troopers a lot, and I love Starship Troopers. I think Robot Jocks is a movie that is better than the concept would let you believe. I think if you read the synopsis, you'd be like, "Oh, well, that might not be for me." But then I think if you watch it, you realize, "Damn, this is really good. This is just super entertaining."
Really well done film.
Absolutely, yeah.
The only thing that gets me about it too, and I've said this before with Alien, and you can, even though I love Alien. Alien is one of those films that you could do now. And if they did a quote unquote special edition, I'm not saying they have to change a lot, but if they just changed one thing in Alien and one thing in Robot Jocks, it would make it to where people would never notice that it was an older film. And that is, to me, the computer consoles in front of the people. If they just modernized the computer consoles, you would never think it was like made in the 70s or 80s.
I like it. I like it. It has that nostalgia.
I'm not saying
I know what you mean.
If you were to change it, you would never know that it was made in those times.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, we're in the top 10 now. What do you got for number 10, Brad?
All right, top 10. This one is, I love this one so much because I love the salute they were given to the horror classics. And for me, top 10 is you know what I'm going to say?
You're going to say The Creeps.
The Creeps. Yep.
Really? What?
Number 10. Why? You thought it'd be higher or lower?
I thought it was going to be higher for you.
Well, me too.
Yeah.
Love the little monsters, and I love the creepy fat guy.
I really thought this was going to be
and
higher.
I really liked you know one reason why I didn't go higher?
Why?
As I was hoping the interaction between the main character and her boss would have gone a little further.
No.
No, I really did enjoy the movie. I just, like I said, there's some movies on here that are just more for every, like I said, though, every movie from 12 up is gold. I love them all.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my number 10.
Very interesting.
How about you?
Kind of surprised.
What do you got, Jason, for number 10?
My number 10 is The Dead Hate the Living.
Wow.
I'm surprised that this is
wow. I thought that was going to be top 3 or 4 for you.
Me too.
I really did.
Look, I love this movie. I think it's great, but I am not the biggest zombie fan. I'm just not.
I'm not either, but that movie fucking rocks.
It does. It's a great movie. I really like it. I actually found myself liking it a little bit less this time.
Really?
I didn't think of them as zombies.
Yep.
It's
I'll have more to say about that one when I get to it. But
yeah, this is my number 10 movie. I still love it though. I think it's a great movie. I like the fact that it's a movie inside of a movie.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool. But the creature design or the zombie design is really cool. And yeah, it's a really good movie. I do love it. But you'll know, if you know me, what my top 5 are. You should anyway. So, but yeah, that comes in at number 10. Joe?
Number 10 for me, remember, this is that movie that was going back and forth with Robot Jocks, and this got the number 10 spot because of nostalgia, and that is Arcade.
I had a feeling.
So, Arcade, this is one of those movies, too, when we first started doing this list, I was like, it's probably going to be higher than it is now. But again, I was kind of letting nostalgia kind of control that because, I feel a lot about it the same way things that you guys mentioned about it. But I do have that nostalgia for it.
Yeah.
I know, Jason, you never saw it back then. I know, Brad, you never saw it back then. I remember watching it back in the 90s and loving it back then because back then it wasn't so dated. You know what I mean? It looked really cool for its time, and it looked it looked like how things were supposed to look back then with video games. And you have the arcade setting, which is fucking amazing. I mean, that brings anybody back. You have that cast of it's out of all these movies, it has the most famous cast out of all the full moon movies we watched in this list.
Yep, sure does.
Look at all the people that are in it, and then I like the story. I like the whole battle of having to go into the video game to save each other, and like I said when we were watching, it reminded me of Nick Arcade, which was an old game show on Nickelodeon. And because in Nick Arcade, the contestants would literally get to go inside the video game and battle. That. Yeah, and that's what it reminds me of because Nick Arcade was out at the same time that the movie was out, so the effects in the movie look like the effects in Nick Arcade, and it adds that extra dose of nostalgia for me. I just have a lot of fun with it. I agree that it doesn't really hold up to today's standards with effects and all that.
It's still really fun though.
It's still a really fun movie. Exactly.
It is.
And I'm definitely satisfied with putting it at number 10, just slightly over Robot Jocks, because I kind of feel like Arcade needed to be in the number 10 for me. In my top 10
I get that.
Me.
I wanted to put all of these movies higher, but some of them I just couldn't.
Yeah,
I think the reason I never watched this movie when I was younger is it kind of flew under my radar. It wasn't the kind of movie that I would normally rent. Like if I went to the video store and I was looking for horror movies, I was looking for horror, I don't know how to word it, but like not extreme, but like I was looking for dark horror films I had never seen before. I was looking for horror favorites. But I think it's just one of those films that I just kind of missed. Like I just didn't see it.
I will say this Arcade, and then another movie that's coming up soon in my list. There's two of these movies that came out around the same time in the early 90s that were they actually have a huge fan base for those who have seen them back then. And Arcade is one of them. Like Arcade, it seemed to be one that a lot of people sort of missed out on. They didn't know about it. They didn't rent it or whatever at the time, like you said, Brad. But it does seem that the ones who did see it back then are huge fans. There are a lot of people who remember it fondly. That I love Arcade. That's like a sort of like an underrated full moon movie for a lot of people that did see it back then.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, Texas Freak.
Hey, Texas Freak.
All right, we are on number 9.
And before I get to my number 9, I just wanted to talk about the Shark Bite. Tubi's cool. I enjoy that kind of stuff, but I don't mind paying for services, especially if I don't have to see commercials during them.
I think Tubi's great. Tubi puts a lot of stuff up that is very hard to find.
Shark Bite Pre-Hysteria we did not do. I kind of wish we did, but it was not horror. It's different, so it really wouldn't have fit into the list. I personally watched Pre-Hysteria about 2 or 3 weeks ago, just because I was on that full moon kick when we were watching all of these. So I watched Pre-Hysteria for the first time in probably 20 years, and that's another one that's super, super nostalgic. And you're right, it is one that people fucking love. People who watched Pre-Hysteria back then, that is like a huge fan favorite among people who watched it. But that one is not on this list. We did not watch that one together.
Yeah, and I wanted to see that one too. My top 10 was The Creeps.
Number 9?
No, he asked what my top 10 was.
Oh, okay.
My top 10 was The Creeps. My number 9, though, is Lurking Fear.
Okay.
And like I said, I had a blast with this movie. There wasn't much I didn't like about it. Let me see here. Yeah, it was fun. It was crazy. I loved that like you said, the creatures weren't just creatures. There was intelligence there. It reminded me more of Castle Freak. And when I said that I think they could have done more with, that's what I'm saying. Is like, I like this so much. I want to see more unfold. I want to see where it came from. I wanted sequels. I would love to have seen sequels that unfortunately we never got them. I mean, they could still do it, I guess, but I think I would love to see more Lurking Fear.
Well, at this point, he'll be Jeffrey Combe over. I mean, it's been a long time.
He could be his kid.
You did say this one, right, Joe? This
I already
mentioned.
Yeah, I already mentioned that one.
Yeah, that's. So we are. Let's see.
Number 9.
4, 6, 8 of them. We've said all of them. All 3 of us. 8 of them have been on our list already.
Okay.
My number 9 is going to be Pit and the Pendulum.
Oh wow! I was surprised as highly as you talked about that.
It was higher. It was higher
for the same reason, right? Dropped it a little bit.
Well, we watched that last movie that knocked it down a peg.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it. It was number 8 originally, but we watched that last movie, and that kind of knocked it down one. Okay. But I do love this movie. I like all the medieval torture stuff with Takamata and Mark of the Devil, the movies like that I just talked about.
Hey, Hobbs.
I just think these kind of movies are fun, and Stuart Gordon being one of my favorite directors, I think he knocked it. You can always tell a Stuart Gordon movie is better than the other movies. They're just better.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying anything as a knock on Full Moon, but he made better films. There's a reason why Castle Freak and Dolls and Pit and the Pendulum and Robot Jocks are all really well-known Full Moon movies, because he was a great director.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's why that is number 9 on my list.
They look kind of like those.
Joe?
My number 9 is Head of the Family.
No.
Oh wow, nice.
So this was the first movie we all watched for this little challenge.
I love this movie.
It was number 1 for quite a while, actually.
Yes.
I mean, I was like, damn, this might end up being number 1 at this rate.
It was my original number 2.
And I mean, it's another one of those movies that you watch and you know it's Full Moon.
Yes.
It's super fun. You got that same chick from Hideous that's naked in this movie, like through more than half the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a huge positive right there. It's got
that girl is really hot.
It's got some of the best full moon nudity you can find is in Head of the Family.
Dude, after we watched this, and Jason even asked me, he's like, "You're looking her up, aren't you?"
Yeah, it was still in the chat. I remember you were saying that. But yeah, it's fun. I cannot wait for Bride of the Head of the Family.
Hell yeah!
Like, it's about time. I cannot wait for that. That's gonna
be awesome. Guess what?
What?
One of the movies that they're doing is Dr. Death, and I wondered if it was the Dr. Death from Puppet Master Origins, or what the fuck was it called? Puppet Master.
Retro Puppet Master?
Yeah, Retro Puppet Master. I don't know why but they're doing a solo Dr. Death movie, and I love Dr. Death.
Yeah.
I cannot wait.
He does kind of look like him, doesn't he?
Who?
Sharkbite put that the Head of the Family mutant guy looks kind of like the big-headed mutant from the Hills Have Eyes remake.
Yeah,
that kind of look like him. Yeah. I thought Head of the Family was dope.
Yeah, it's so much. It really is. I mean, like I said, it was number 1 for a while, and it's so much fun. It was like the first one we watched for a reason. I think we were all looking forward to watching it.
Yeah.
That movie kind of embodies like the whole creature feature thing that Full Moon is known for, you know.
But I mean, it's number 9 for me. Again, only because my other 8 movies are just movies that I ended up liking even more than that one.
Yeah. Yep.
Number 8, Brad.
Number 8, Brad.
My number 8, and this was higher on my list too before, but my number 8 is Crawl Space.
Oh.
Yeah. Number 8 is Crawl Space.
With you.
I love this movie. I love the whole, almost like an apt pupil, like how you find out that this guy's like a Nazi and stuff, you know, or his father's, and he's like you want to see his downfall.
Yeah.
And, and I really like that. The whole thing of him crawling through the vents, that was just creepy. This movie is creepy. It's atmospheric. One heck of an atmosphere. And I liked the way it was filmed. And I thought, out of all these movies, this one, with the exception of maybe my number 1, this one has maybe the best acting in all these films.
Yeah.
I mean, they did a great job.
It very much has it very much looks like a David Schmoller film. I mean, between Puppet Master, Tourist Trap. I mean, you look at movies like that by him, and this, he definitely has a style to him, and
you mad at me?
You can see it in that.
Okay. Just checking. Sorry.
All right, Jason.
All right. Okay, you asked for it. And this is what made Pit and the Pendulum number 9. Dark Angel. Joe's silent. He's like, "Fuck you, man."
I'm thinking if I should knock you out of the stream or just mute you.
This movie, like you said, with full moon nudity. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this one's got a lot of good nudity, and the story is just so clever. This is one that will probably jump up more for me the more times I watch it, but I am fairly new to this movie. This is only the second time I've watched it.
That's true. This is one that I knew well going into it.
So second time I watched it, I liked it quite a bit more than I did the first time, and I still loved it. Made my top 5. And it's just a great film.
Shark Bite. So Did you say it made your top 5?
No, it made my top 5 last month.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait a minute.
This was the other movie I was talking about when I was talking about Arcade, saying, there's 2 movies coming up that have a really big fan base despite being sort of not talked about a lot. And Arcade and Dark Angel. Dark Angel: The Ascent was at one time, when DVDs were still fairly new, even in the early 2000s, Dark Angel was the most requested full moon title to be released on disc.
Really?
Yep. Which I think is pretty cool because, again, the people who had never even heard of it, but there was so much demand for it from the people who had seen it that it was the most requested title to be put on disc.
New Dark Angel with what's her name?
No. I don't think I've seen the Dolph
Angela
Lundgren
Featherstone.
One. There's one
Angela Featherstone. Angela Featherstone.
And yeah.
I every time I said it, Brad talked at the same time.
Yeah.
No, I heard you like 5 times. I sat here.
Yeah.
Your number 8, Joe?
My number 8 is Seed People.
Ah.
This was also a little bit higher until we watched a few more, but this was like in my top 5 for a little while there, and this is one that I didn't realize I liked as much as I do. I remember liking it, but when we watched it, I was like, damn, this is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is.
And I love the setting of that one. I love the house and the forest nearby, and I just for some reason
all the mist and the fog and everything.
It was really done well. This one was a lot more atmospheric than you'd expect it to be. I feel like you look at the title and you expect it to be really like alien-esque, really sci-fi of sorts, but it's not really. It really is more like I don't know,
creature
feature. Critters in a way, but not quite. It's hard to explain. It's just a lot of fun, and I don't know. I'm glad it's in my top 10 at least. Like I said, for a while it was in my top 5 even. So
it was my 13, so I was pretty happy with that.
Yeah, it's a good one. All right, number 7, Brad.
Okay, so number 7 for me is going to be The Dark Angel: The Ascent.
Ooh, okay.
And I never saw this before, and it's one when I wanted to really get it. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry, Bones. I hid your message instead of approving it. I'm sorry. I wanted to see it, but then I also thought it would be one that I wouldn't like very much, and I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I mean, I really thought it was good. I thought the concept of it was awesome. And one thing I really liked about it was even though these creatures were creatures from hell, like they still showed that even though they were in hell because of their disobedience to God, they still were worshiping God from hell. And
yeah, I thought that was cool too.
Yep.
Cool. So
all right, Jason, number 7.
Number 7 is the first movie that we watched together.
Head of
and
the
I
family.
thought this one was going to be a lot higher,
Mm.
but it kind of just ended up here, Head of the Family.
Mm.
And basically, this one and the next one and number 5 could have all switched places easily, but this is just kind of how they fell.
Yeah.
So, Head of the Family is a lot of fun. You got the nudity with that blonde who I'm not attracted to blondes, and I think she's
done though. She's
Yes.
And
I am attracted to blondes, so
it's just goofy. This fucking movie's goofy, but it's so much fun.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for Bride of the Head of the Family.
Mm-hmm.
They've been promising it for a long time, but now with that Deadly 10, I think they're actually doing it. So.
Yeah, I think it's definitely coming.
Yeah, I saw an article about it just the other day, so hopefully it's coming out soon.
Yeah. Joe?
My number 7 is The Creeps.
God, you guys disappoint me.
This is another one of those full moon movies that is like reminds me of Full Moon. It's one of those VHS tapes I remember seeing at the video store with that cover and thinking, why are all those monsters small like that? Like, you know, like that's the type of cover that drew you to Full Moon tape. Yep. Like you see that, you're like, there's a mini Dracula and a mini Mummy and a mini Frankenstein and this girl that is probably going to be naked in this Full Moon movie. And you're thinking, I have to rent this tape. And it's just that was Full Moon. I mean, that's what Full Moon did. Full Moon had that marketing down.
Yep.
What were you going to say, Brad?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I apologize. Go ahead.
Go on.
I love how in The Creeps, like, you never feel like they're using little people just because they're little people. Like you see so many people say, "Oh, well, little people can only do certain roles." Well, no, we got a little Dracula.
Yeah,
we have a Mummy. We have a Frankenstein, and they were just, they were taken seriously.
It's another one of those concepts that could have really been so silly, but it works.
Yes,
like it somehow works where it's like this believable concept, and it's like, that's pretty clever, as opposed to just being like a stupid, like, okay, here's the mini Universal monsters for the sake of having them. Like it's a genuinely smart storyline, and I appreciate that about the movie, and it's just really fun overall. I mean, it's just, again, it's another one of those Full Moon movies that you can just put on and enjoy really anytime. I feel like I don't have to be in the mood for that one. It's just if you want to watch a Full Moon, The Creeps is the perfect kind of movie to put in there.
Phil is the man.
The Creeps is a good movie. It's like if someone wanted to watch like their first Full Moon movie and you wanted to introduce them to the company, The Creeps would be like a great example of one of those movies to do that.
Or Blood Dolls.
Oh, of course, yeah. But I'm saying Creeps is definitely one for me.
Yeah, definitely. Me too.
That would hook me in and be like, okay, now I want to see more Full Moon.
This one really surprised me how much I liked it the first time. This was one of the ones, like I said, back when I was renting the Full Moon movies from Hollywood Video, mostly because they had a lot of their titles. I just, I wasn't sure what I was going to get with this, and ended up saying, damn, that movie had no right to be as good as it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Just fantastic.
All right. Number 6, Brad.
Okay, so number 6 for me is going to be Doll Man.
Okay.
I love this movie. I had so much fun with it. To me, it was like wrapping it's almost like they took Judge Dredd, Duke Nukem, Roddy Piper from They Live, and all these guys and just rolled them into one 13-inch package. And I just absolutely loved it. I thought it was great. I like that he's taken on the bad elements in the community and helping out this woman, but at the same time, everything they do pisses him off. Like everything that the characters did, the kid, I love the fact that the kid thinks he's like the whatever cartoon it was they said he was watching that was like like Space Rangers or He-Man or whatever they thought he was, like I was just like, oh, that's just so fun. And like this is this little and that's what's funny is he really 13 inches? I know he is on Earth, but it says that he's normal size on his planet, right? So are we talking about a planet full of miniatures, or did something happen that made him shrink? Or, I mean, it's just like, and he's got that gun that just, even though he's only 13 inches tall, just kills everything.
Yeah.
Like, she walks out and walks back in. There's a bloodbath. I loved it.
Sexual undertones, yeah, and seed people, definitely.
Oh yes, in fact we commented on that quite extensively.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Jason, number 6.
All right, 6 and 5 are tough for me. You did use Doll Man, didn't you, Joe?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. It could easily go with number 5, but it fails here. So
okay.
Crawl Space, I think, is amazing. I wanted it to be my number 5, but it's not. Okay. And funniest thing is, the thing that I always remember about this film is the phony rape in the beginning, because I think that's the only movie that I ever saw that in.
You really thought it was going to happen.
Yeah, yeah, and I was like, that's a wild way to start out a film, but it's just, I don't know. I've always liked it. I think Klaus Kinski was the biggest prick ever, but there's just something about him that draws you to him.
Yeah.
He has that face. I don't know.
As soon as the guy grabbed her, though, you knew that they were role playing. Like, as soon as he grabbed her.
Yeah, yeah. But, I mean, before then, I was like, okay, I've never seen this before, I've never seen them do, like, a fake rape. But
right. Yeah. Hey, there are people that get off on that kind of thing, like, for real.
Well, I know. That's why I thought it was interesting that they actually did that in the film. Yeah. Joe?
All right. My number 6, right after this, too, I want to take just a 1-minute break to run upstairs and say hi to my wife and son who just walked in the door. So
yeah, cool. I'll grab some food while you do it.
Number 6 for me is Sorority Babes and the Slime Ball Bolorama. And for me, it really goes back to what I said earlier. To me, it's always been a combination of like a sex comedy and a full moon horror film. And those are sort of my 2 favorite genres. Like if I'm looking for rare VHS tapes, they're usually horror. And if it's not horror, then it's going to be like unreleased sex comedies. Like they're kind of like my 2 favorite genres combined into one movie. Yeah. And it's out of control. It's just sort of all over the place. It seems like they were just having fun with it. Like there's a storyline, but there's not really. It's just like, okay, here you have these wishes. Like, we'll do whatever, you can do whatever you want. And this is how it's going to, it's the typical story of be careful what you wish for, but in like a wild full moon sort of way.
Yeah, definitely.
And I just think it's a lot of fun. I almost considered having it a little bit higher, but just like I said about Crawl Space, even though a lot of this does feel like full moon, it doesn't feel as much as full moon as the others. It has like that different. It almost feels like it could be like a trauma film. There's like it almost has like that trauma vibe to it. Yep. So that for me drops it down just a little bit because of that. But other than that, I love this movie. I think it's so entertaining, and it's number 6 for me. Nice. All right. So before we get to the top 5s, I'm just going to run upstairs just for a minute, and I will be right back.
All right.
Are you going to stay on for just a sec, Jay? I'm going to grab something real quick.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going anywhere.
Okay, cool. I was going to put on the dance off while I ran to something real quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah, if you guys are interested, the ones that came in late, in seeing what my 22 through 6 are, then I can do that real quick for you. 22 was Totem for me and Joe. I don't remember what Brad had for Totem. I mean, for number 22. Yeah, I can't remember. My 21 is Ragdoll. My 20 is Killjoy, number 1, because that was the only one we watched. Number 19 is Netherworld, which is actually a really fun movie. They just went a little too far on the bird motif. Number 18 is Doll Man. Number 17 is Arcade.
I'm back.
Number 16. Hey, Joe.
Hey.
Number 16 is Robot Jocks. 15 is
What are you going through yours again?
Yeah. Hideous. I guess Brad didn't put Hideous up yet, did he?
Yeah, he did.
Did you, Joe?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Well, you go back
14 is Bad Channels. 13 is Seed People, which was a first-time watch for me, and I loved it. I think it was a first-time watch. I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Then we have Lurking Fear, which was number 12. Then Sorority Babes, number 11. I thought you guys would be going longer.
No.
I did too. I thought Joe would be gone longer, and
that's why I started this.
I said a minute.
Yeah, but then he said he had to go get food.
Yeah.
Number 10 is The Dead Hate the Living for me.
Luckily, my mom had this made already, so.
Damn, no wonder you don't want to go home.
Yeah, right.
Sorry, Danny. Then we have Pit and the Pendulum. Number 9. Number 8 is Dark Angel. 7 is Head of the Family. I'm almost there, guys. I'm almost there. 6 is Crawl Space.
That's where we are.
And now for the top 5.
All right, Brad, you're up.
Number 5.
Joe, why don't we run down ours real quick? Or would you rather not?
I was just doing it to conserve time. I didn't plan on doing it, but
I've been deleting mine as we go along, so I don't even remember mine.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because I keep my list on my phone, so once we go through them, I delete it so that way I can delete the list.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, never mind then. I like to give the people that have just come in or whatever,
Well, that's why they can go back and watch the video.
All right. Well,
I was just trying to fill some time because I thought you both would be gone longer.
Yeah.
My number 5 is Head of the Family. Like I said, this movie is Full Moon. It's what.
Yep.
It's basically it embodies a lot of what Full Moon is, which is creature feature, puppet films, oddball.
Yep.
Kind of stuff, and it does a great job at it, and I love it.
Okay. How about you, Jason?
Clearer than that. Oh, I think you're going to know what my number 5 is. Bam!
Shrieker.
Number 5 is Shrieker. I expected this to be number 1 for me because this has always been one of my favorite creature features, and I love it. And while I still love it, I didn't hit the right notes this time all the way. I still enjoy it. I love the monster design. I like Perry Shen's in it. And I like the story, how he's able to transport through walls and shit like that. I think that's cool. But I don't know, it just felt like it dragged a little bit for me in some spots.
Yeah.
Maybe that's because I've seen it so many times, though.
Could be.
And I just reviewed this not that long ago for Body Bags, so I've seen it probably twice in the last 2 or 3 months. So, but yeah, Shrieker. I do have the toy upstairs. I was going to try to find it, but I took one look in that room and I was like, nope, not going to happen.
Yeah.
Joe, you're number 5.
My number 5 is Blood Dolls. Another one of those typical full moon movies. You know, you look at that cover and boom, you know it's full moon. You watch the movie, you know it's full moon. It's sort of like the opposite of Head of the Family, where you have a guy with a tiny head instead of a giant head. Really fun. Yeah. The band in it, it's like the band that they keep electrocuting in the cell.
I love it.
No matter what song they sing, it's so damn catchy. I was singing that damn Pain song for like days after watching the movie. P-A-I-N Pain.
Killer, though.
The dolls are awesome in it. I love the overall setting, the atmosphere. I love how the movie just like breaks the fourth wall in the end and does like a whole second ending.
Yes.
Like we filmed 2 endings for this, so now we're going to show you the alternate ending within the movie.
What's his name again? Mr. What? The clown guy? What's his name?
I don't remember.
Mr. Jeffries?
But he's awesome. Whoever his name is, he's awesome.
I just love that they do that. They break the fourth wall. Instead of having like the alternate ending as a special feature, it's like literally in the movie. And it's like a completely different ending too. It's really cool. So Blood Dolls number 5.
Hey, bro.
Blood Dolls number 5. Come on. All right, go ahead, Brad. I'm through bitching.
All right, number 4 for me is first time watch that just blew me away. The Dead Hate the Living.
Okay.
I love the sets. I love the fact that how they filmed it, like they're filming a movie. I loved the design of all the props and that giant coffin thing or whatever it is, the machine. And like you said, though, Joe, I really didn't look at them as zombies. They were, I mean, yeah, they came back from the dead, reanimated or whatever, but they were different. It was the one was he had intelligence. I thought the atmosphere was amazing, and I love the story behind it. That movie just really, too. Yeah, it had Tiny in it.
Yeah, Matthew.
That movie just really blew me away.
Number glory.
All right, my number 4 is going to be Full Moon's Beauty and the Beast, and that is Meridian.
Nice.
Meridian always blows me away. It's awesome. It's got, I know we said that Head of the Family probably has the best nudity.
You can say that about a lot of movies.
This one gives it a run for its money, that's for sure.
No, this one has the best nudity in my opinion. It's just an awesome film. I like the ones coming from the other dimension. The whole story about the twins, and it takes Beauty and the Beast, but it takes it in a completely different direction, sort of. But and I tell you, the monster design is surprisingly well done.
Incredibly well done.
Yeah, and even when he turns into the monster, you have some effects that you can see that were borrowed from the Howling and from American Werewolf in London, like the bladders and everything. So I really appreciated that, and this is a hell of a movie.
I think I've done a top 10 werewolf films before, but I think I might redo it, and this will be on it.
Yeah, but is he a werewolf?
Yeah, he's a werewolf. That's what I consider him. He's a werewolf.
He's actually not a werewolf.
Yeah, he's more of a beast.
He looks like a he reminded me of a werewolf.
Yeah.
So I think of it as one. That's just me.
Joe, you're number 4.
My number 4 is also Meridian. For the same reasons. But also, it's like a dark fantasy. It's like a dark sexual fantasy.
Yep.
If that makes sense. It's almost a movie about bestiality, but it's.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
Well, it is. I mean,
it is. There's no two ways above it.
She loved the person. She didn't even know he was the beast.
Who primed her up and who did the pumping? And I'll leave it at that.
It's like it's. Yeah, have you guys ever seen the movie The Beast that was released by Criterion Collection?
You two are just sick. You're just sick.
It's that, and it's similar to that, and and I like the cast of this one. I love Sherilyn Fenn. I think he's gorgeous in this. I mean, I love the castle settings. Like the settings in full moon movies are like top notch. I know we keep saying that for the movies, but there's so many great settings in these movies.
Yeah.
But it really does. It has like that surreal, like fantasy, almost like fairy tale feel to the movie. With like these just obviously huge sexual overtones. And it's also the one that I said, it reminds me the most of like a witchcraft movie. It sort of like has like that 90s feel with like that softcore porn.
Yeah.
But it actually has like this good look to it and actually has like a good story there. And this one was in the running honestly for number 1 for me.
Yeah.
Like I was literally thinking, geez, Meridian could really be number 1. I mean, any of these top 5 really could have been.
Yep.
But Meridian was a strong contender.
Yeah.
Man, you two suck. You take a beautiful, wholesome love story and you turn it into something tawdry and cheap.
It's an awesome movie, though. I love it.
It is. It's a beautiful film.
And I still say it's a werewolf movie. That guy's a werewolf.
You hang on to your delusions.
All right, that's Brad. Fun. Number 3. You're in the top 3 now.
Okay, number 3 is the one I thought was going to be my number 1 going into this.
Blood Dolls.
It's one of my absolute favorite films from Full Moon. Shut up, Dolls. Yes, freaking Blood Dolls. Oh, I love this movie. I've always loved Blood Dolls. Mm-hmm. I just think it's fabulous, fantastic, beautiful. Everything I could say good about it. I love when she kills that one dude with the whole S&M thing, and she leaves him there, and she knows that the dolls are going to. And I just love that they use that to kill. That was just too funny.
It's a cool effect though, with like the tightening of the wires and stuff. Like, it looks really good.
It would have been really cool to see like more of it. Like if they wouldn't have cut out, like that's some straight up like Hellraiser stuff right there.
Yeah.
So, but no, I love Blood Dolls, and I've said it before, and I know you hate me saying this, but that's my Puppet Master. I like it more than Puppet Master. I like these dolls. I
don't necessarily hate you saying that, but
I love this movie.
Yeah, I love the movie. I just don't think that the puppets are as iconic.
Oh, I'm obviously not as iconic, but this is, just for me, I like them.
Yeah,
more.
My number 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be The Creeps.
Nice.
I love this movie. I've always loved this movie. Blood Dolls and The Creeps and Puppet Master and Subspecies are what I consider to be my very favorite Full Moon titles.
Mm-hmm.
Along with Shrieker, but that ended up as number 5, but that's okay. This movie, I was surprised it was number 3. I figured it was going to be in the top 10, but I figured it was going to be further down. But man, I hadn't seen this in a while, and I had a fantastic time with this. The little Universal monsters, but not exactly little people. They just didn't perform the experiment right, and they weren't sized properly. And I just think that that's
I love that.
A brilliant way to explain that.
Yeah.
I love it. I love The Creeps. I think it's so much fun.
I literally went back and forth with it too. I almost had it above Blood Dolls, and Blood Dolls right above it. I was going back and forth with it. Yeah, I can see that.
It's so much fun. So much fun. Joe?
My number 3 is The Dead Hate the Living.
Damn.
I loved this movie. I love the movie within the movie. I love how, when it starts, you think it's like going in one direction, and then boom, you find out, okay, they're making a movie. And I love the setting. I love the look of, like where they are. It's just, there's like blues, like the way the color and the lighting in this movie.
Yep.
It's just the use of color and light and shadows and everything. It all just fits together so well. It always makes you feel like you're in like a Halloween haunt.
Yes.
The way they're like chasing after them, like the dead they're going after them. They remind me of like people you'd find in like a Halloween haunt, like that kind of makeup on the characters. I love the ending, which I know we haven't mentioned yet with this one. I love the ending when they step through, the coffin thing, and like they're in like that other world or whatever. I think it's really cool how it ends there, because it's kind of like you want to see more, but you don't necessarily need it. You can kind of make up your own mind of what's going to happen next. I really think that's awesome. I think this is another one of those movies that is
much better than people would probably think.
Yeah,
I think they would probably look at the cover and think, it's just another, it's just another zombie movie. It's a full moon zombie movie, but it's so much more than that.
That's why I got it, Joe. It proves your point perfectly. I got it because everyone raves about this film, and I was like, it's a zombie film because it is essentially a zombie film. But and I watched it. I was completely freaking blown away.
Yeah.
I was like, this is what I like in zombie movies. It's something that's creative, something not everybody does.
Bingo, exactly.
Yeah.
And I like that just a handful of them. You don't have like this horde of zombies.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like just so it's like it's almost it's like a couple of seeing Matthew McGrory from House of a Thousand Corpses, in a way it's like watching like a Firefly movie where you have like these just deranged family members coming after a group of people filming a horror film. It's really cool.
Yeah. And it's like, I even asked you, remember at the very beginning of this movie, I was like, what is this? Are they filming a zombie porno? And Joe was like, I was like, he's like, just wait.
That's what I said. Just keep watching.
And I was like, okay, whoa, okay. And that's when because at first I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be stupid. But then I was like, oh, and this got really good. And Jay, you need to see The Sadness. I just put my review up for it today.
Yeah, I need to watch that review.
You need
as long as you don't spoil anything.
You need to see the movie.
Yeah.
Watch the movie first. I don't know. I try not to. Nothing major about it, but about the plot. But I talk about some kills, and things like that. So.
Yeah.
I don't know. I give a warning before I do. But you need to see the movie though, and I still bugs me that Rue Morgue put on there the greatest zombie. I'm like, it's not a freaking zombie movie. There's not one zombie in that movie, not one. And I'm like, why is he calling this a zombie movie?
I think it's going to be released here in not that long amount of time because Shudder has it. So,
well, it's been released. It's on Raven Banner, and it's really expensive.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be released here. What you got was an import.
The Raven Banner is an import?
Yeah, the one right now.
It was shipped out of here. It was sent. I ordered from Raven Banner. They said it came from New York or somewhere.
I think they have a U.S. location. I
didn't know Raven Banner was an import.
Yeah. It hasn't gotten an official distribution place here yet.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know they were an import place. I didn't know that at all.
If their movie hasn't been distributed by a major company, then they're still kind of like an import label. I mean, you have to take it for what it's worth.
Well, I'm glad I bought that Blu-ray because it's a really nice Blu-ray anyways. So, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Rob from Body Bags got the media book.
Oh, nice. I didn't know there was one. That's cool.
Yours probably has special features. His has no special features.
Well, I'm telling you, man, Bill had it because a friend of his introduced him to it, and he bought him a copy. And we were watching it, and within 10 minutes of watching, I was online. I ordered that movie. I was so blown away within 10 minutes. I was just like, this is awesome. Well, anyways, where are we at, Joe?
Number two, Brad.
All right, so there's only 2 movies left that I haven't done. So number 2 for me is Meridian.
Okay.
I was completely shocked when I thought this movie was one of the best ones. It shocked me. I want that Blu-ray, by the way. I have it on a multi-pack, but I want that Blu-ray now.
Yeah, this is one I made sure I ordered when I got that 10 free.
I should have, but I was like, I didn't think it looked that great. And this movie is such I don't know if it's a salute to or anything like that, but it felt so much like a Hammer film.
Yeah, it did.
They could put this in with the Hammer Werewolf franchise or anything like that. They could put this right in there, and I loved it. This is going to be very much a repeat watch for me. I can see me watching this at least once a year, maybe.
Yeah, so you have a good wank while watching it.
No. Stop it.
That's funny.
Beautiful movie. Yeah, I love the effects.
Great fucking movie. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. I loved those. I don't know if they made them or if they're like statues somebody made or something, but like the thing that they all walk out of, that big head.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
I love those things. Those are so dope. I like everything like that. It's so cool. And I love that Phil's in. What's his last name? Phil.
Phil Foncaro.
Yeah, he's in so many cool films.
Yeah,
he's in so many full moon movies.
He's in a lot of older full moon films, but he's in a lot of movies. Period, and just I don't think he gets the recognition he deserves. He's not as far as like little people that are real big famous actors. Like you got Warwick Davis. You got I don't think he gets the recognition he deserves for.
He was in so many '90s horror films, especially back then. I mean, Ghoulies 2. I mean, I think of Ghoulies 2. I think of him. You know,
he was in one of the Leprechaun movies, if I remember correctly.
Probably.
I mean, he's also in.
He's in a ton of stuff.
He was in a lot of stuff, and I thought
he was in Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the TV show. He was like a regular in that.
Nice.
Yeah, I always liked him. I've always thought he does a great job.
Yep.
And he's in what 4 or 5 movies on this list? He's in Meridian. He's in
Sideshow.
He's in The Creeps.
He's in Blood Dolls.
He's in Blood Dolls. I mean, the guy is just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And but I loved this movie. I love that I've really gotten into the hammers, and what Hobbs said a little while ago that he has a gap in his in his horror knowledge of being full moon. Well, for me, for years, a lot of mine was, and I'm trying to, is full moon and Hammer. And I'm filling both of those. I'm really getting into both Hammer and full moon titles, and I'm doing more of them, and I'm really loving them.
Yeah. All right, Jason, what do you got for number 2?
Well, he's in my number 2, which is Blood Dolls. Always loved this movie. While I don't necessarily agree with puppets being better than Puppet Master or whatever, but I have always liked the puppets in this one. I've always liked this one. I like the pimp puppet. I think he's cool. The samurai girl puppet is cool, and the big dude is cool too. This is kind of like Sorority Girls and the Slime Ball Bolorama, for the simple fact that they take everything that's great about Full Moon and they threw it at a wall and just saw whatever was left stuck. And while I think this did it better than Sorority Babes, but they're both fun films. So, but
you know what the most surprising thing about Blood Dolls is?
What?
We only get like a split-second glimpse of nudity, as opposed to think about it. Other full moon films, you get all this other nudity. In Blood Dolls, you only have the one band member who flashes for just a second. You don't get anything else.
That's right.
It's interesting because it's like Full Moon is kind of known for that too, and that's just one of those movies you don't get a lot of nudity.
Well, the sexual overtones in this.
Oh yeah.
Besides not being,
So that's why it's surprising. You have all that S&M stuff, but she's never nude.
Yeah. All right, Jerry, you're number 2.
My number 2 is a movie that was for most of the time number 1.
No.
Sideshow.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Sideshow is number 2. Sideshow is probably.
Well, that tells me what Jay's number 1 is.
Sideshow might be the most rewatchable movie on the list, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because number 1, the length. It's a short movie. I absolutely love carnival settings. That has, like, next to the Fun House, this has one of the greatest carnival settings in my opinion. It's so simple, but it really does look like a real traveling carnival. I mean, from and we even mentioned this in when we talked about the Fun House when we did Terror the Isles. Even the parking lot, like I don't know, like the parking lot, like looks like it just everything down to that. It just looks like a real carnival. You got our buddy Phil. You have good effects in this. Like I love. The girl who ends up with like the no face sort of thing. I really like how that looks. It's like super creepy.
Yes.
The other girl who can literally pull her skin off and puts the guy inside of her. That's such an awesome scene. I love the concept of them getting the tickets and to the freak show and basically each becoming what they want to be. Again, it's another be careful what you wish for sort of movie, but done in a creative way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Sideshow. I really fell in love with this one when I did it for Multi-Pack Mania, and I was excited to get to this one with you guys, and I loved it just as much, if not more, this time. So it's number 2 for me.
There is
number 1.
a Tales. Real before we get there, there's a Tales from the Crypt episode that's kind of like Sideshow, and I've been wondering which one came out first, the Tales from the Crypt episode or the Sideshow movie. I don't remember, but
Tales from the Crypt episode.
Similar to
Tales from the Crypt came first, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. So you know the episode I'm talking about.
Yeah, and plus it was part of the comic, so the comic story did it a long time before Sideshow.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, so my number 1, and I don't know, I may share this with Joe. I don't remember you saying this one, but if you did, I just forgot. My number 1 is The Pit and the Pendulum.
No.
Okay.
What do you mean no?
He already said it.
Oh, I was like, what do you mean no?
He goes, no.
My number 1. Dude, this movie, I loved it. I just loved it. It's the best film on this list by a lot, actually.
I didn't realize you liked it that much while we were watching it.
Oh, I didn't either. I loved it. I was just wrapped in this movie. I was so into it. Oh man, and that's I think why maybe you thought that, because I was so into the movie I wasn't messaging a lot. I was just in this movie. Okay,
it's really good. And like I said, Stuart Gordon makes incredible films. He does.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of the most popular full moon movies are Stuart Gordon films. And before, when I was throwing out the From Beyond, and I didn't even say that, and Dolls and Castle Freak, Reanimator, and this movie, which probably is his least talked about film.
When we did our Fangoria ranking, when we ranked 101 movies, a Stuart Gordon film was my number 1 out of all those movies, and that was Dolls. So, I mean, right there, it just goes to show you, I mean, out of 101 movies, a Stuart Gordon movie was my number 1 for that rank.
As a matter of fact, I can tell you exactly where mine was because I have it right here in front of me.
Well, if I remember correctly, The Pit and the Pendulum is based on an Edgar Allan Poe story.
Yes.
And I loved that story, and I love the twist that they put on this with the Spanish Inquisition, and I love Lance Henriksen in it as Takamata, and I just love this. It's an elegant period piece that they put together that just really, really put me into thinking, like, man, what if Takamata in his head, because all these, you ever notice in a lot of these things where the religious guy, it's always because he has hots for somebody or there's something in his head that.
Yeah, but it's also because he thinks he's right.
Yeah, he thinks he's right, but he hates himself, and you could see that he hates himself. He's flogging himself. And then we had my mom and I actually had to talk about it after this was over.
Flogging?
After the movie. No, about the Inquisition, about that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I never understood why certain Christians thought they had to beat themselves, because the entire point of Christianity was that Jesus came to save people from their sins, so you wouldn't have to
Christianity.
That's what it's supposed to be. That's what it's
not now Christianity.
Well, I don't know about fake Christians, but I'll tell you what real Christians think.
You know what his favorite arcade game was? Flogger.
Joe joke of the day.
All right, Jason, what do you have for number 1? I already know.
Number 1, you know what my number 1 is. Sideshow.
I knew it.
This is one I never heard talked about way back when, again, we were talking about going to the video store days and renting these. I picked this up with Demonicus and Lover's Lane and movies like that, and they were like under $5 for the VHS. They used to have a big a tub in the middle, and I picked up this movie called Sideshow and didn't realize it was full moon until I brought it home, and I absolutely love this movie. Now, I hadn't seen it in years, and as a matter of fact, I haven't seen it since then, from when we just watched it. Since then, I've watched it again. And this movie's amazing. The makeup, the effects, the carnival setting, everything in this movie.
The rewatchability, which you just proved because you watched it again. I feel like it has such good rewatchability.
Yeah, top notch.
Agreed.
And the best part about this, if there's anybody out there still listening, is that this is in a lot of the multi-packs.
Yeah.
So it's an easy and a cheap way for you to give it a watch. I love this movie. I think it's fantastic, and I'm glad that we picked this one to do because it just reinforced my love for this movie, and that I hadn't seen it in a while, and I remember liking it that much to where seeing it again was just it was just a joy.
When we watched it, I remember us saying we thought that was going to be number one for us, just because it was like when we were watching it.
Yeah,
I remember you said to me like, this is going to be my number one, and I said the same thing, and it was my number one up until we watched the very last movie we watched, because my number one is Dark Angel: The Ascent. Just like Brad said about Pit and the Pendulum, I personally think Dark Angel is the best movie on this list, because not only is it great for a full moon movie and it has a full moon feel, but I also think it's a great movie in general.
Yeah.
I fucking love the storyline. I think, again, they could have done the same storyline with a lot less, like what Brad said with the religious, the religion aspect of it and how they still worship God.
I thought that was really cool.
I think that I love that they went that far with it. Like they didn't need to do that, but they did.
Nope.
Like you can tell, I almost feel like they really did care about this movie. Like they put a lot of passion into this film, into the script, into the characters, everything. I love that it's a unique story. I love that in a way it almost starts to play out like a supernatural slasher in a way. I mean, she just starts finding these sinners and just starts killing them off one by one. And I love that has that aspect to it for me, which obviously as a slasher fan, I love that. I'm drawn to that. I love that she's doing these things and she's from hell, but she's this likable character, obviously. I mean, it doesn't hurt that she's nice to look at and the nudity and all that, but
it's true.
You find yourself drawn to her too. I think she's fantastic in the role.
I do too.
Especially seeing her in other things. She does such a great job in this movie. That like the whole lack of emotion, like when she's doing these things, yet it also has like this great love story to it. Sort of in the way like Meridian. Meridian's like I guess horror film, dark fantasy, but it also has like that romance in it, that romantic aspect to it. And that's what Dark Angel has. And like I said, this was another one of those movies that it was popular when it came out for people who saw it. People really loved it and ended up being the most requested full moon movie to come on disc. And unfortunately, it just doesn't get talked about enough. I feel like people may have heard of it, but they haven't seen it. And I feel like if you're a full moon fan, you'll like it. I feel like if you're not a full moon fan, you might still like this one. I think it kind of falls in both of those categories. Like it's not just for people who love full moon. It's just a good film in general. And it does something different, and it's my number one.
Where was it in mine, Joe?
8.
8? Well, let's just put it this way. It probably would have been in the bottom, like maybe 16 to 22 after the first time I saw it. That's how far it went up after the second time.
Nice.
And I have a feeling this is going to be one that I'm going to enjoy the more times I watch it over the years. And you're right. I don't understand why it doesn't get talked about more.
I really like how they end it too. I like the ending.
Yes.
They did so. I feel like they just hit it in all the right places.
Yep.
Like they just did it right. And like I said, I feel like it's not just a good full moon movie. I feel like it's a great movie in general, which is great. It has the best of both worlds. And I got to credit Crawl Space with that, even though I had Crawl Space lower, whereas Crawl Space really didn't feel like a full moon film to me, but I think it's a great film.
Yeah.
Whereas Dark Angel, again, has the best of both worlds. If you want a full moon movie, you can watch Dark Angel and you feel like you're watching a full moon movie. But if you want to watch a great film in general, you can watch Dark Angel, not necessarily feel like you're watching, if that makes sense. It's just, I feel like it covers both bases. again, if you're a fan of Full Moon, you'll like it. If you're not a fan of Full Moon, I still think you'll like it.
I agree. And I was impressed with everybody's list. I was surprised at a few choices. I know you guys were surprised that I put The Dead Hate the Living a little bit lower, but like I said, zombie movies just aren't my bag, you know?
I mean,
but
they're not usually mine either, but for that, I love that one.
Yeah. It's got a really cool plot. But that was one I think it's going to stay where it is, where movies like Dark Angel and Crawl Space, yes and no. Shrieker was surprised it was number 5 when I thought going into it would be my number 1.
Yeah.
But you have to understand that after I saw Sideshow, it was sealed for me because the only movie I hadn't seen on that list was Sea People.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't think it was going to compare with Sideshow. Not many films do. Yeah. So, but
and I thought you were going to have Pit and the Pendulum higher the way you talked about it.
I really wanted to see it because it had been so long since I'd seen it. Literally, I got it. Shit. I got it years ago when Full Moon first started putting out discs, and I haven't watched it since.
I haven't had a chance to get up yet.
So
when
been years
going into it, like looking at the list, I probably would have thought my top 5 in no particular order, but I thought my top 5 probably would have been Blood Dolls, Dark Angel, Arcade, Head of the Family, maybe Meridian. I mean, those probably would have, Sideshow. I mean, Sideshow I knew was going to be high too, but Dark Angel, I knew it was going to be high, but I really didn't think it was going to be my number 1. I really thought Sideshow was going to maintain that spot once we watched it again.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, Dark Angel was the last one we watched, and it's the epitome. Again, I keep saying it, but it's the epitome of those movies you watch, and you're like, "Holy shit, that's right. This is how good this movie is."
Yeah.
And as we were watching it, it was the same way, like what Brad said about The Pit and the Pendulum. I was just so drawn into Dark Angel once again that I was like 15 minutes into it, I was like, "This is gonna be my number 1." Like I just knew. Like, as soon as we started watching it, I was like, this is going to take it. This is going to be the top spot. Dark Angel will be number 1. And it just gets better as it goes on. Like I said, I love the ending of the movie, too. So it was sealed. I was like, this is number 1. And that is that.
Same way with Sideshow. I'm just surprised that it took me. Well, first of all, I didn't know I had it on multi-pack. I probably should have looked a little bit better. Because you know me. I have Sea People. Where?
Yeah.
Multi-pack.
On the same multi-pack with Sideshow.
Yeah, right. And with Lurking Fear and everything else. And it's just like, sometimes I forget I had these movies. Now, I knew I had Sideshow because I had bought that 3-pack with Wacko on it.
Yep. Me too.
Simply for Wacko.
Yep, me too.
Because, of course, Vinegar Syndrome hadn't put it out yet.
Yeah.
But seeing the Sideshow was on there, I was like, why didn't I watch it?
It's funny because I didn't remember Sideshow was on that 3-pack until you mentioned it when we were watching it, because I had picked it up again for Wacko, and I could give a shit about the other 2 films on it. I was like, I just want this for Wacko.
Yeah.
I wasn't really paying attention to what else was on it. And I had totally forgotten Sideshow was on that too. I mean, I have Sideshow on VHS, but I watched it on that 20-pack when I did it for Multi-Pack Mania, and then when we watched it again, not even thinking that it was also on that 3-pack.
It's just so freaking good, and it's just, I'm kind of pissed off at myself because it took me that long to watch it again, because of how, and knowing that you love a movie without seeing it for years, and you remember very little about it. It was surprising how much I remembered about it when I was watching it.
Well, that's how I felt about Neverending Story. I remember telling you this when you and I watched it. I had literally waited 30 fucking years in between watching it. 30. Like, that's not even an exaggeration. I waited 30 years to watch it again. And when I watched it that night, I was like, holy shit, like, how do I remember this so vividly? It was just crazy how it brought back, like I said, I don't remember another movie doing that, like bringing back such nostalgic memories after watching it after so long. And I just thought that was really cool.
There's a few of them for me, but not many films can do that. That's for sure. But yeah, we actually did pretty good. 2 hours and 19 minutes. That's not too bad.
Not bad at all.
Nah. I thought it was going to be a little bit longer.
All night for all I care.
I'm glad we all
keep
had
going.
like,
I'm good with that.
I'm glad we all had Meridian High. Like we all had it, in our top 4. We all had it in our top.
We all had Sideshow High.
Yep.
Sideshow was in our top. I think all of our top 5. I mean,
yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Blood Dolls.
Pretty cool.
I love Blood Dolls. I mean, it's just like I said it with Sorority Babes, but it really is the way it is with Blood Dolls more. It's just got so much random shit in it that it just works.
Mm-hmm.
Texas Freak, the streaming service has all. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I thought you were done. I'm sorry. The streaming service has them all except for Crawl Space.
And Robot Jocks, right?
And Robot Jocks. And Robot Jocks. I forgot.
So basically the 2 Scream Factory titles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Did they release any of the other ones?
Scream?
Yeah.
No, just those 2 on this list.
I wonder why they did. That's kind of weird.
It seems to be like the Empire. It seems to be the Empire films because they released Dolls too, which was Empire.
Robot Jocks was also an MGM film, so
yeah, MGM got Empire too. Yeah, because MGM also released Dolls, which was Empire, and they also released the Ghoulies films, which was Empire. So MGM definitely had a deal with Empire films at one point.
Also, Metal Storm, The Destruction of Jared Snow.
Actually, MGM released Crawl Space too because it's on that double feature I have. The MGM.
Yep.
With the Attic.
They released Metal Storm too. Like that whole Empire box. Oh, full From Beyond MGM.
Yep. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, so it seems to be Empire, maybe just the Empire films. Scream Factory.
Yeah,
maybe.
I kind of wish I would have gotten that box set, but I'm kind of glad I didn't. In the same way, it was
same thing. I had all the movies, but it was just such a cool box set to have them all together like that. And
yeah. And did you remember that there was 2 copies of Metal Storm in there?
Yeah.
It's like you have a regular, and then you have the 3D one. It's like, was that really necessary? But
it was pretty expensive at the time. Yeah, that's why I didn't get it.
Hell yeah. That's why I passed on it.
It was cool though. I had different cover art and stuff for them, and but the discs were like the same discs that were already released. If you notice, like the Dolls disc was like the MGM disc and stuff, and somebody put it in and found out because the MGM disc of Dolls has the menu has an image from
well, she turned it on
from A Whisper to a Scream. On the MGM made the mistake because they released those 2 movies at the same week on DVD. And they put the Dolls menu on the MGM DVD is From a Whisper to a Scream image, and from the Empire box set it's the same thing. It's the exact same menu and everything.
That sucks.
So they literally just took the same discs and put them in the set. But
it's Charles Band. I mean, even though I love Full Moon, I love their movies. He is the epitome of cheap.
Yeah. Sometimes that Evil Bong set was pretty nice. I mean, that couldn't have been a cheap set.
Well, no, probably.
Or maybe it could have been. I don't know. But
listen, the guy owns a castle. He can afford it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ted Nicolau owns a castle.
My mom that I was like, yeah, the guy owns a castle.
Mm-hmm. Him and Ted Nicolau hanging out in their freaking castles in Romania.
I know, right? They probably got him at a rummage sale for properties, you know.
I love seeing it though in Subspecies, especially.
We're supposed to begin the next Subspecies movie eventually. So.
Yep.
Yeah. It's part of the Deadly 10.
Blood Rise. It's a prequel. It's gonna be interesting.
I wonder how they're gonna make
and I was gonna say they need a lot of makeup.
My mom's watching something about virgins going to a river.
Oh boy.
Virgin River?
I don't know, I guess, yeah. I'm just teasing. Trying to shock my grandmother.
You should put on some Full Moon and watch it with her.
That'll shock her.
She watched Meridian. No, but she did watch some of. She didn't watch the whole thing, but she was getting into it. I could tell. She watched some of Horror of Dracula with me.
Nice.
The Horror of Dracula.
Yeah, it's not Full Moon, but
yeah. No, but it's still she was watching it. That's a step.
Yep.
All right, fellas. Well, I'm just about burnt out with the week I've had.
That was fun.
Yeah, man.
Yep. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, man.
Join us next time when we do something.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
All right, y'all. Peace.